Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream on an extremely chilly night up on the coast in the northwest. We have the FA Cup third round replay where League One Blackpool take on Premier League Nottingham Forest. The first game between these two sides was a 2-2 draw after Blackpool took a 2-0 lead after they scored in the 25th minute and the 27th minute through Lawrence Gabriel and Morgan. But with their top flight quality, Forest turned the game around as before the break Dominguez made it 2-1 and then the equaliser came from Morgan Gibbs-White in the 56th minute. But Blackpool were able to see the result through to gain a replay. Tonight's home side have a strong record at home in League One with 10 wins from their 15 this season. And Forest haven't got the greatest of away records in the Premier League with just 2 wins from their 10 away from the City ground. This fixture was also played last season. Both of these teams met in the third round. That time Blackpool smashed Forest 4-1 as the Tangerines progressed to the fourth round at Bloomfield Road. But in the 98th fixture in the 89th game in the history of this fixture, can Blackpool knock out Forest of the FA Cup in back-to-back seasons, or will the away side under Nuno Espirito Santo get their revenge? The winner of this tie will take on Bristol City, who last night beat West Ham United at home after they picked up a 1-1 draw at the London Stadium. So I definitely think for both sides, they'll look at the fourth round fixture as one that they can win. I even think Blackpool would fancy taking on Bristol City, and Nottingham Forest would obviously trust their better quality players to try and progress beyond Bristol City. But of course Bristol City showed last night that they can defeat some of the best Premier League teams. Obviously West Ham are right up there at the minute. I believe they're top 6 at the minute, West Ham. I think they're 6th in the Premier League. So whoever take on Bristol City, it'll be a big task and it'll be a difficult game, but compared to what you can get drawn against in the fourth round, I think both sides would take a game against Bristol City, that is for sure. Kick-off for this game is just around 7 minutes away, and Bristol City are the team that await in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Obviously it's a tournament and a cup competition that everyone likes to do well in. Obviously for some it's more of a priority than others, but at the same time it doesn't mean that no team take it seriously. Everyone takes it seriously, and I think it'll be a good draw for whichever side end up progressing through. The team who wins tonight would have to go to Bristol City. It would be an away fixture, which would make it a little bit more difficult for both. I think Bristol City will definitely fancy their chances. That's what I like about the look of this tie. I think any of the teams involved will fancy beating each other. I think Blackpool will fancy beating Bristol, so will Forest, but I think Bristol City at home will fancy beating Forest or Blackpool, so it will set up a nice fourth round tie in the FA Cup. That is for sure. As it does look very, very cold. I said welcome to a chilly northwest, but obviously, thankfully, I'm not at the stadium. I am at home, nice and warm, but it looks very cold. Will that play a factor? I doubt it. I think these players are so used to playing in all kinds of conditions. I don't think it really matters to them, but I think for the supporters, I think it'll play a factor for them. I think both sets of players for both sets of supporters will need to be on the front foot. I think try and get the supporters up for it, especially Blackpool. They don't want it to be flat. This is a big occasion for them. This is a big night. Obviously currently in League One at the minute, 8th in the table. Won their last game at home at the weekend against Exeter, 2-0. 2 goals from Albie Morgan, who actually got the second goal in the reverse fixture between Blackpool and Nottingham Forest. He made it 2-0 after Jordan Lawrence Gabriel made it 1-0 to Blackpool, and Jordan Lawrence Gabriel was signed for Blackpool from Nottingham Forest. He made 7 first-team appearances for Nottingham Forest from 2015 to 2021, picking up a red card in one of those 7 games. So that's an interesting story. Then Albie Morgan as well, who got the goal to make it 2-0. He signed on a free from Charlton in the summer. He has got the 12 FA Cup appearances now, and the 2 goals in the FA Cup. The other one came last season in the second round against Stockport County when Charlton were beaten in a replay that night as well. And then for Nottingham Forest, like I say, 2-0 down they were in 27 minutes against Blackpool, but goal before half-time for Dominguez made it 2-1, and then Gibbs White made it 2-2 in the 56th minute. But what is interesting about Morgan Gibbs White is he's out the matchday squad, and Nuno Espirito Santo was interviewed before the game, and he said that Morgan Gibbs White has picked up a knock and that he's going to be out possibly for the next couple of weeks. So a big blow for Nottingham Forest, obviously with the news this week that they are going to be punished for financial breaches, so they might be having a points deduction soon. We've not heard how many points or whatever the case might be, but they've got that coming. They've got Taiwo Awoniyi, their main number 9. He's out. He's been out for a while injured. Morgan Gibbs White's injured now as well, so they're going to have to call upon their so-called backup players to really step up now and get them through, because if they get, they're only 15th in the table at the moment, Nottingham Forest, and if they get a 10-point deduction, for example, that puts them on 10 points. That puts them bottom of the league, and would they have the quality to make up for those 10 points lost, or however many points they lose? I'm not sure, not without the likes of Morgan Gibbs White and Taiwo Awoniyi. But tonight is distractions away from the Premier League. They've got an FA Cup game. Obviously Nottingham Forest and Nuno Espirito Santo would have loved to have got this done at the City ground, but I think that the fact they were 2-0 down at one point and they were able to get it back to 2-2, I think they'll take the replay. Is the Premier League the priority for Forest? Yes, probably, but I don't think a FA Cup run's a bad thing. Obviously, we're Nottingham Forest. The fact they've got to play an extra game probably came as an annoyance to them, but it's the FA Cup. If you don't win that game, you've got to get a replay. And oh my days, Odysseus Vlachodimos for Nottingham Forest, their goalkeeper tonight, is in a short-sleeved shirt. That is absolutely crazy. I mean, you can understand why maybe the outfielders have got short sleeves on, but as a goalkeeper, I couldn't think of anything worse than having short sleeves on. That's absolutely ridiculous. But he's gone for the short sleeves, and we'll go through both teams now. We'll start with the home side, and we'll start with Blackpool and his birthday yesterday, his 26th birthday. It is Daniel Grimshaw in goal form with Manchester City's academy. A back three of Callum Connolly, Marvin Epiteta, and James Husband. Wing backs on the right is going to be Jordan Lawrence Gabriel, who made it 1-0 in the reverse game at the City ground, and at left wing back is going to be Andy Lyons, who was signed a year ago from Shamrock Rovers for £300,000. And it looks like it's going to be a midfield three of Sonny Carey, who comes in after not featuring in the game away at Forest. He was playing alongside Albie Morgan, who got a brace in their last game against Exeter and a goal against Nottingham Forest as well in that 2-2 draw. And captain as well, joined from Peterborough in the summer, and that is Oliver Norburn, who's got the 1 league goal so far this season. He's making his second FA Cup start, and they've both come against Nottingham Forest. And the front two, it's going to be CJ Hamilton, who scored last season when these two teams met in the FA Cup third round when Blackpool won 4-1. He also got an assist this season against Blackpool, who he is making his 125th appearance tonight for Blackpool. And alongside him up front will be Jordan Rhodes on loan from Huddersfield, and what a loan signing he has been. He has got 15 goals this season, all of them in League One. He is joint second top goal scorer in League One. He is yet to score in the FA Cup so far this season, but in the league he has been absolutely phenomenal. What? I don't. He's been fantastic for Blackpool in League One on loan, the 33-year-old, and they'll be looking for him to score some goals tonight, if possible. And then on the bench is Richard O'Donnell, the backup goalkeeper. Oliver Casey drops to the bench after starting the last game at Nottingham Forest. He'll be alongside Matthew Pennington, Matty Virtue, Tashan Oakley Booth, Karamoko Dembele, that former Celtic wonderkid, Owen Dale, Shane Lavery, and Kyle Joseph as well. For Nottingham Forest, they have Vlachodimos in goal with Nico Williams, Andrew Omabamidele, Murillo, Nuno Tavares as a back four, three midfielders of Danilo, Ariel Mangala, and captain tonight Ryan Yates, and the front three on the right is going to be Nicholas Dominguez, on the left Callum Hudson-Odoi, and leading the line up front is Chris Wood, who's got 4 in his last 3 in the Premier League, obviously scoring that hat-trick most recently away at his former club Newcastle United, and their benches Matt Turner, Gonzalo Montiel, Joe Worrell, Scott McKenna, Joe Worrell, Scott McKenna, Harry Toffolo, Jamie McDonnell, Brandon Aguilera, Joe Gardner, and Detlef Asapa Asong as well. So they are the starting 11s and the substitutes. We've got other FA Cup games also on tonight. We've got the replay of Everton against Crystal Palace, which we commentated on. And that was a painful one, to say the least. And we've also got Bristol Rovers taking on Norwich City. So we've got 3 FA Cup games tonight, replays, 2 of them happening elsewhere. But we are about to get underway here at Bloomfield Road. Can hold up to just over 17 fouls, and I don't think we'll have anywhere near that. There's quite a few empty seats, but it is a very cold one up in the northwest tonight. And which side will progress to the 4th round? They will take on Bristol City away from home. Blackpool knocked out Forest last season in this round of the FA Cup at Bloomfield Road 4-1. This time they got a draw away. They've got to face them at home, who will come out on top. It's Nottingham Forest to kick us off, kicking left to right, Blackpool right to left. It's in the Blackpool half with Danilo. Goes back into his own half here to Murillo. Then back to his goalkeeper, Vlachodimos, in the 18-yard area. Lifts it out to the left-hand side, controlled by Tavares. Played inside to Danilo. Back to the goalkeeper again, Vlachodimos, in his 6-yard box. Plays it out to the right-hand side here to Nico Williams. His touch isn't great. He nods it down the line for Dominguez, who goes backwards to Omar Bamadelli, whose clearance deflects off a Blackpool player, and it will bounce out off Dominguez for a Blackpool throw-in on this near side. In the final third, Dominguez tried to let it run out of play, but as it bounced off him for a Blackpool throw-in. As Blackpool take the throw-in, and it's with Morgan back inside here to their number 10, Sonny Carey. Then across to the right-hand side they go, midway side the Forest half. It's with Connolly. Diagonal ball out to the left into the area. Header won by Dominguez for Forest. Helped away by Nico Williams. It's not a great clearance. And Albie Morgan will have a shot from 25 yards out, always going wide of the post. Vlachodimos dived beyond it, just having it covered, the Greek international goalkeeper. Not a great headed clearance from Nico Williams. It set up nicely there for Albie Morgan, who scored at the back post in the reverse game. Got on the end of a cross and put it beyond Vlachodimos, who also started the reverse game at the City ground. As at left back, it's Nottingham Forest with Nuno Tavares, who came off the bench in the reverse game at half-time. He's given the ball away. And it's back with Blackpool in the Forest half. They lift it in towards the area, volleyed away by Murillo, Forest number 40. And I'll go for another Blackpool throw-in on the far side, and it'll be Callum Connolly to take it. He was part of the England under-20s squad that won the World Cup in 2017. Joined 3.5 years ago now. 2.5 years ago from Everton. Blackpool attack down the right-hand side, right on the corner flag. It's been kept in here by the number 4, Lawrence Gabriel, but then he loses out to Tavares, and it's played forward by Hudson-Odoi. It's a misplaced pass. Albie Morgan out to the right for Blackpool, kept in by Lawrence Gabriel. Down the line here for Hamilton. Back to Norburn, who turns away from Hudson-Odoi. Crossing by Connolly. It's a deep one. It's a looper, and it's gone over the crossbar and behind for a Nottingham Forest goal kick. He's probably put better crosses in than that, Callum Connolly. Always rising over the crossbar there, as Blackpool have spent the majority of the first 3 minutes in the Nottingham Forest half. I don't think the away side have had any possession in the home team's half of the field. It's like I said before, 10 wins from 15 in League One for Blackpool at home, 3 defeats coming against Exeter, coming against Derby, Peterborough and Northampton. So it's a decent record here as Danilo, loose pass, won back for Blackpool by Lawrence Gabriel, and the pass into the midfield to Norburn. He is brought down, and that'll be a free kick for Blackpool, midway side their own half. Played out to the left-hand side here to Lyons. Tackled strongly by Dominguez. Back with Forest in their own half. With right back Nico Williams in the defensive third. Turns away from Carey. Plays it forward up towards Wood. Headed away by Epiteta. Rolling as far as Ryan Yates, who can dribble inside the Blackpool half and lift it over the top towards Hudson-Odoi, who will bring it down. He tries to bring it down, but it just avoids his foot. Last touch off Connolly, and that'll be a corner for Forest on the far side. It's a decent searching ball there from Yates. Just looping it over the top of the Blackpool defence into the 18-yard box. Hudson-Odoi couldn't bring it down, but the last touch did come off a Blackpool defender of Callum Connolly. And that'll be a corner kick for Forest. They've taken up the defenders, the likes of Murillo and Omobamidele, who's making his debut tonight for Forest. Signed in the summer from Norwich for around £20 million. Out-swinging ball in. Header won by Murillo, and it's a well-made save. Down low to his left there by Daniel Grimshaw. It was a good cross there, and Murillo was left all alone towards the far post, and he's headed it into the ground towards that bottom right corner, and he's read the bounce well there, Daniel Grimshaw, to just avoid the ball hitting the back of the net. So it's another corner for Forest on the opposite side. It'll be a right-footed outswinger from Dominguez. Near post. Come off a Blackpool player, but it'll drop to Danilo, back out to Dominguez. Forward to Danilo, on the byline, puts it across goal, it's a header one, drops to the edge of the area to Nico Williams, who with his left foot will shoot, and he'll slice it, and he'll go wide of the post. And it'll be a Blackpool goal kick. That's definitely the closest we've come, and that is a fantastic save from Daniel Grimshaw, whose first FA Cup appearance this season was against Forest. He'd been on the bench for the previous 2 rounds. And the fact that Murillo, from around 14 yards out, was all alone with that header, slightly worrying for Blackpool, but it was a good save from their number one. As I mentioned before, turned 26 yesterday. As it's from his goal kick, it's helped on by Rhodes. It'll drop to Murillo, the centre-back. It will go into Omobamidele, who's at the back for Forest, the Irish international. Stoke are interested in Andrew Omobamidele to take on loan for the rest of the season. Obviously, Omobamidele has struggled for minutes this season. He's making his Forest debut. His 4 appearances this season came for Norwich before he left in the summer for. Came for Norwich before he's moved to Forest. So obviously Nuno Espirito Santo has given him his opportunity here tonight, as it is still Forest in possession inside their own half with Orel Mangala, their number 5, who's making his 50th appearance for the club tonight. He's been linked to Napoli in Juventus this January, the Belgian midfielder who's got it on the edge of the 18-yard box here for Forest. And they go out to the left centre-back of Murillo. He'll drive forward here, the Brazilian. He goes down the line, looking for Tavares. It goes beyond him, and he'll still chase it, but it'll be cleared on the edge of the box by Grimshaw. Up towards Jordan Rhodes, who can't get their head of Mangala, but the touch off the Belgian will see it out for a throw in for Blackpool on the far side. Not a bad run there from Nuno Tavares on loan this season from Arsenal, and there is a £12 million buy option, but Nuno Tavares hasn't played in the Premier League since the 23rd of September, after he came off injured against Manchester City. He did play the second half of this game, though, a week and a half ago. Ball played forward for Blackpool, up towards Hamilton, who will bring it down with the chested touch, but as the ball was played forward, CJ Hamilton was in an offside position, and that'll be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. But when these two sides met last season in the FA Cup third round, Forest were 4-0 down. It was a Ryan Yates 92nd minute goal which gave Forest the consolation. Obviously that was when Blackpool were in the Championship. They were relegated last season, 23rd on 44 points. They were 5 points off safety in the end, 5 points off Cardiff, who finished in 21st with 49 points. But they're just outside the playoffs at the moment in League One. Mangala looking for Hudson-Odoi, cut out by Connolly. Hamilton on the right-hand side, Lawrence Gabriel on the right-hand side, tackled by Tavares, ball forward from Danilo. Hudson-Odoi will chase it, but Epiteta will clear it down the Blackpool right, controlled by Murillo. Tackled by Rhodes, but he keeps it away from the Huddersfield loanee, and he plays it forward here to Wood, out wide to the left to Hudson-Odoi, on the halfway line, on the far side. He goes backwards to Omobamidele. He then finds right back Nico Williams inside his own half, back into Omobamidele. And then once more to Vlachodimos. in the Forest goal. Left-footed clearance, got a bit of height on it, up towards the halfway line, headed forward by Epiteta. Goes over on the challenge there by Norburn from Danilo, and that'll be a free kick for Blackpool. Just inside the Forest half. Don't think he agreed with that decision, Danilo, but the referee's given a free kick. And stood over it is the captain for Norwich, Norburn. Goes out to the left centre-back, James Husband, who's making his 19th appearance in the FA Cup. He's yet to score previously in this competition. James Husband, as we're back with the Blackpool goalkeeper Grimshaw. First time clearance up the field. It's in the sky and it'll be brought down by Danilo. And then poked away from him by Rhodes. Out to the left now for Blackpool. Good play. It's now Lyons, who's got Husband, the left centre-back, overlapping him. Lyons will play it to him. He'll cross it low into the area. Cut out by Mangala. Back out towards Husband, who will let the ball roll out for a throw-in on the near side for Blackpool. Throws it here to Lyons. Goes over the challenge of Yates, but seen as a fair one by the referee. Ball still alive for Blackpool, taken away by Dominguez. Good turn there from Nico Williams. Right back. Goes to the edge of the area here to Mangala. Then to his left centre-back of Murillo. Sao Paulo-born centre-back. Can also play midfield and at left-back, Murillo, if needed, but he's been heavily used at centre-half at Nottingham Forest since joining from Corinthians in August of last year. As in the centre circle, out to the right-hand side is midfielder and captain tonight, Ryan Yates. Brings in Nico Williams, midway inside the Blackpool half. He's now back with Yates again. Williams, back into Yates on halfway. Number 22 for Nottingham Forest, been at the club since the age of 5, Ryan Yates. Came off in the 81st minute in the last game between these two sides. As with the goalkeeper Vlachodimos to the right centre-back of Omobamidele. Right-footed ball down the line, slightly miscued, and it'll roll out of play on halfway for a throw for Blackpool on this near side. Not a great clearance from Andrew Omobamidele. Only 21 years of age, the Irish centre-back. So we've got a lot of time to progress still as the throwing down the line comes off the head of Rhodes, and it'll be a throw for Nottingham Forest this time on this near side in a right-back position for Nico Williams to take. He's also making his 50th Nottingham Forest appearance tonight. Nico Williams signed 2 summers ago now, from Liverpool for £17 million. As Wood lays it off to Dominguez, switching out towards the left to Danilo. It's a misplaced pass. Lawrence Gabriel picks it up the wing back, but then he's tackled by Danilo. But then he gets himself in front of the ball, behind the ball, and he's taken down from behind by Hudson-Odoi. And that'll be a free kick for Blackpool. We made up for his slight little error there, Lawrence Gabriel, as they take it quickly here. Blackpool out to the left-hand side. Loads of room here for the left wing back of Lyons. Lays it off for Husband. Crosses first time into the box. Hamilton tries to bring it down, but it deflects away from him. And it drops to Mangala for Forest. Out to the left to Hudson-Odoi. Gets it caught behind him. But then Tavares takes over, and he can't quite keep it away there from Lawrence Gabriel. And that'll be a free kick for Blackpool again. Good defending from Lawrence Gabriel. As Nuno Tavares tried to take over the ball there from Hudson-Odoi, who was dribbling forward and got the ball stuck under his feet. And he ended up deflecting behind him off his heel. Epiteta, ball forward looking for the number 10 Carey. Header won by Omobamidele. Nico Williams dribbling out, brought down there by number 24 Andy Lyons. And that'll be a free kick for Forest. Just got his elbow into the chin of Nico Williams there. So rightly given free kick from tonight's referee, which is Darren Bond. Obviously no VAR, as we are not at a Premier League ground. And Forest, midway inside their own half with Murillo. Left back Tavares, back into Murillo again. First time ball, down the channel. Hudson-Odoi has it, flicks it forward for Danilo. He's got Yates over to the right and he'll use him. 25 yards from goal, feeds it to the right here to Dominguez. Outside the 18-yard box, Nico Williams will overlap. Dominguez will put the cross in himself, which deflects into the near post. And it's an easy catch in the end into the hands of Daniel Grimshaw, who joined Manchester City as a teenager and then left in July of 2021, and he's become Blackpool's first choice this season. The Blackpool goalkeeper did play 18 of the 46 Championship games last season, keeping 6 of the 14 clean sheets that they were able to get last season, Blackpool, as Murillo heads the ball forward to Danilo. It's now Nuno Tavares at left back for Forest. Murillo again. Out wide left to Hudson-Odoi. Midway inside his own half. He's got Lawrence Gabriel closely following him, and he gets a bit too close, brings him down from behind in the end, and that'll be a Forest free kick on the far side, won by Callum Hudson-Odoi, who has actually scored a third round goal in the FA Cup against Nottingham Forest before in 2020. He's got 4 goals in the FA Cup, all for Chelsea, 3 of them in the third round. Vlachodimos, ball up to the halfway line, flicked on by Wood, can't find a teammate on the left-hand side. Swept backwards by Connolly to Grimshaw, and Blackpool can play from the back. It's to Epiteta at the edge of the box, clips it forward, can't find Rhodes, headed forward by Mangala. Forward for Forest, and it'll go to the edge of the box where it's cleaned up by Husband. Now on the far side, you play a left-footed ball down the right channel, and it goes out of play looking for CJ Hamilton. That'll be a throw-in for Forest inside their own half. It'll be taken by their number 3, Nuno Tavares, who spent last season on loan at Marseille, scoring 6 goals in Ligue 1. The 23-year-old turning 24 on the 26th of January, so next week. Just under 15 minutes in, we've had one big chance about 5 minutes in through Murillo. The Nottingham Forest centre-back from a corner, heading it towards the bottom right corner, but he was well saved by Grimshaw. And here is Murillo on the ball on the halfway line. Finds Yates to his right. Then out to the left to Hudson-Odoi. Back into Yates, midway inside the Blackpool half. He's going to switch it out to the right flank. And it's a good ball, good weight. Finds Dominguez, who's got Nico Williams making a run ahead of him. He'll find the Welshman. Nico Williams in the final third. Crosses, it comes off Husband, and that'll be a corner kick for the away side. Well won there by Nico Williams, getting forward from full-back. Only got the 1 goal for Forest so far in his career. In his previous 49, Nico Williams, and that came at Anfield against his former club back in April last year. So they've got the same players up there. Murillo, Omobamidele, Woods in there as well. Dominguez crosses, a bit more height on this one. Flick to the far post where it's a volley into the back of the net. And on his Nottingham Forest debut, Andrew Omobamidele scores. They came so close to scoring from a corner right at the beginning of the game. But 15 minutes in, another corner, another dangerous opportunity, and this one hits the back of the net. The previous Dominguez corner on this near side was hit low at the near post and dealt with too easily. That time it was again aimed towards the near post, but just got more height on it this time, and it was flicked on by Yates to the far post where Omobamidele got away from all the Blackpool players at that far post, and it's an easy left-footed finish on the volley into the near post beyond Daniel Grimshaw. It's a finish like a striker. And Omobamidele makes it Blackpool 0, Forest 1. And it's the set pieces that are causing Blackpool the danger. And this danger could not be dealt with. And he's lifted a shirt up there, Omobamidele, saying, "Thinking of you, Kiarte." Don't know the details, but I'm presuming Cheku Kiarte has had a troubling time in his life at some point. So they were lifting a shirt up in his name, which is nice to see. Again, don't know the details of why they've held up a shirt with Kiarte's name up, but I'm presuming obviously it's support of something that he's going through. So that's very nice from Andrew Omobamidele. But here's 1-0. Like I say, the 2 main chances have come from Nottingham Forest corners. The first one was really well saved by Grimshaw from Murillo, and then that one was bizarre. There was 3 players at the back post for Blackpool, and just none of them tracked the run of Omobamidele. You just kind of just sneaked in and just had a free go at it. It was strange. Obviously, Nottingham Forest will see that and think they can probably score more goals from corners tonight. And Blackpool have got to sort it out here, as it is Forest on the ball in the Blackpool half on the near side with Nico Williams. Goes back into his own half here too. The goal scorer, Omobamidele, on his Forest debut as well. That's great to see for the Irishman. Obviously had a frustrating time whilst Steve Cooper was at the club, but now under Nuno Espirito Santo, maybe he might have a go in the first team. Obviously, he's got to impress tonight on Omobamidele, and he's done that at the other end. Obviously, I think Nuno Espirito Santo will be more interested in what he does in defence, but the fact he's got forward and scored is even better. And a lot of work for Neil Critchley to do now tonight. The Blackpool head coach, second spell at the club. His first spell was from March 2020 to May 2020 to June 2022. He actually got them promoted into the Championship through the League One playoffs in the 2021 season, and then left at the end of the first season in the Championship when he got them finishing 16th. Left for Aston Villa to join Steven Gerrard as the coaching staff, and obviously that went slightly wrong. And then he went on to go and manage at QPR, where he survived 12 games from December 2022 to February 2023, and then in May of last year, Blackpool welcomed him back, and they've got him, and they've got Blackpool outside the playoff spots. But tonight they might have a hard job here against Nottingham Forest, obviously using the corner kicks to their advantage. As Blackpool have it on the far side, Rhodes on the edge of the area, goes back and across here to Albie Morgan. He's been forced all the way back to the goalkeeper, Grimshaw, midway side his own half. That's a very negative pass to make. They've made some good yards forward there, Blackpool, but they've got it forward and halfway. Switched out to the left there, good touch by Lyons. He's got to keep it away from Dominguez if possible. Works it back here to Carey. It's now Husband across to the number 8, Morgan, goes for a switch. It's a short one, cut out by Hudson-Odoi. He's pickpocketed by Hamilton. Blackpool have it again in the Forest half. Well won back there by CJ Hamilton. It's out to the left on this near side to Husband. Not got many options. He's forced to go backwards to the halfway line here to Morgan. It's now Epiteta, who scored last season, the centre-back for Blackpool in the 4-1 win against Forest in this round of the FA Cup. Husband's ball forward into the Forest half is cut out by Mangala, who's all on his own. Don't know who he was aiming for there, Husband. And it's now with Nottingham Forest on the far side with Callum Hudson-Odoi. Back into Tavares. Now Mangala to the halfway line to Murillo. Being pressed by Hamilton, plays it forward to Mangala. To his left now to Tavares. Back into Mangala once again. It's now into the centre circle with Omar Bamadeli. Back through to Mangala. Plays it to his left to Tavares. His touch gets away from him. Picked up by Lawrence Gabriel. And he's brought down by the slide tackle of Tavares. And that'll be a free kick for Blackpool. Really poor touch there by Nuno Tavares. Allowed Gabriel Lawrence to just get the ball and take it off him. And then eventually brought down by the Portuguese left-back. As Epiteta. Lifted ball out to the Blackpool right, flicked on by Lawrence Gabriel, chested by Hamilton, can't quite keep it away from Murillo, who gets there ahead of the Blackpool player, then into Danilo, back into the left back Tavares, Mangala, Murillo, back to Tavares, midway side his own half, plays it down the line, looks for Wood, whose touch isn't great, kicked away from him by Epiteta, Rhodes back to Morgan, lifts it over the top of the Forest defence, it's a header away by Omar Bamadeli, he'll have to go for it twice, and eventually it's controlled by Dominguez, then out into the right back position here to Williams, finds Dominguez, he's got everything to his left here, goes inside for Yates, and he will reach the Forest captain, who will then switch out to the left, in behind, looking for Hudson-Odoi, whose touch is in front of him, and the flag's gone up, as Yates played it through to Hudson-Odoi. He's just gone slightly early there, the Forest number 14, who scored on his debut for Forest in a 1-1 draw against Burnley back in September. Lifted ball for Blackpool. Hamilton will chase it towards the corner flag on the far side, and Tavares will take it away from him though. Good defending from Tavares. He turns back on himself and goes into the 18-yard box to Murillo. First time clearance with his left foot. Finds Wood, who controls it, but he's tackled by Epiteta. And now it is Norburn. Into the centre circle with Morgan. Out to the left to Husband. He will drive forward with the ball. Being followed by Yates. Finds Carey. Morgan into Norburn. Ball through. It's a high one into the area. Rhodes heads it on. Looking for Hamilton. Headed away by Murillo. Controlled by Danilo. Ball forward to Wood in the centre circle. His touch out to the right. Finds Yates. Out wide right once more to Dominguez on the halfway line. Dominguez slowing the play down. Just inside his own half. Finds a great ball into the left to Mangala. It's now out to Danilo. Hudson-Odoi's furthest left. Then he'll find him. Running at Lawrence Gabriel. Onto his right foot. Early cross into the box. Looking for Chris Wood. It's not the worst idea there from Hudson-Odoi. If he just took a little bit off it, then that would have been perfect. Just slightly overhit from the former Chelsea winger. And the score here at Broomfield Road is Blackpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. The away side lead through at Omar Bamadeli header, volley at the far post. back with Forest. Midway inside their own half here with the number 5, Mangala. It's now Dominguez on the flank on the right-hand side. Into his own half. Finds Mangala. Yates. Dominguez again, being tracked by Carey. Moves it on to Yates, then back to Dominguez in the right-back position. It's now into the 18-yard box for Forest with Omobamidele. To his centre-back partner, Murillo. Back over to Omobamidele again. Right back, Dominguez. Inside for Mangala. Good passing patterns here from Forest, who work it out to the left of Danilo. It's a ball forward. Nowhere near Chris Wood. Cut out by Epitete. It's now with the left centre-back of James Husband, who dribbles up towards the halfway line, plays a pass forward here to Rhodes, goes over the challenger Mangala, not giving us a foul, says the referee. Nico Williams will bring it away, tries to slot it through towards Wood on the edge of the box. Again, just slightly overhit, can't quite reach the New Zealand international. And that'll be a goal kick for Blackpool, taken by the number 32, Daniel Grimshaw. Just under 25 minutes in. Still 1-0. Blackpool haven't really tested Odysseus Vlachodimos in the Forest goal, as Grimshaw goes short with the goal kick to the edge of the 18-yard box to Husband. He's got Dominguez closest to him, but not close enough to him to really cause him any stress. Whereas on the edge of the 18-yard box, it eventually gets played into Albie Morgan, the central midfielder. He's looking for his options. He's going to go for a big switch out to the left-hand side. It's an audacious one. It's headed down by Williams. Straight to Lyons. Tries to play it through towards Rhodes in the box. Cut out for Forest. But it's still with Blackpool as they win the ball back. It's on the halfway line here with number 6, Oliver Norburn, whose best ever scoring season was 9 in League One for Shrewsbury in the 2018-2019 season. So he can be a goal-scoring midfielder when he wants to. Oliver Norburn, he didn't score any at his previous club Peterborough, where he joined from in the summer in 56 appearances over the span of 2 years. Carey, ball out to the right to Lawrence Gabriel. Lays it off here to Connolly. First time cross, near post, flicked on, drops in the box. Lyons lifts it to his left to Husband. Touch, cross, cleared by Mangala. Drops in the area to Williams. Out to Dominguez. Through to Williams on the near side. He keeps the ball in with a ball down the line to Wood. Tackled by Epitete. And then from behind, Husband has the last touch. And that'll be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. Yeah, not loads of chances for Blackpool so far in this game. They've got 3 wins from their last 5. Just the 1 defeat in their last 5 for Blackpool. 3 losses in their last 10. So they're not on a bad run of form at the moment. It leaves them 8th in the League One, with 12 wins from 27, and 10 of those 12 wins have come at home, so it shows you their away struggles in the league. And even though they might have away struggles in the league, obviously in the FA Cup they were able to go to Premier League Forest and get a draw, so hopefully that might help them in the future away from home. As we're back onto the game here, and it's actually a Blackpool free kick, about 10 yards inside the Forest half on the near side. So they've got a bit of work to get it into the area. It'll have to be a long ball forward for them. It's actually taken down the line by Husband. Finds Lyons, who's all on his own here in the final third. So he can get it onto his stronger right foot, cross it poorly, chested by Williams to Dominguez in the area, who with his left foot will play it across the pitch. Looking for Hudson-Odoi, who will take it off Connolly. Too weak in the challenge there. And Hudson-Odoi can sprint away down the left-hand side. He wants to get it onto that right foot. Tavares overlaps him, doesn't use him. Hudson-Odoi being forced away from goal eventually. Then does get the switch out to the right to Williams. Good pass in the end by Hudson-Odoi. Nico Williams. 1-2 with Yates. Back with the Welsh fullback, who's been forced to go backwards here to Dominguez, who's almost filling in at right back there for Williams. In the centre circle with Murillo. It's now Omobamidele. Dominguez forced back to Vlachodimos. Good pressing there from Blackpool to force Forest back into their 18-yard box. Well, Blackpool are looking to reach the 4th round in consecutive campaigns for the first time since 1969-1970 through to 1970-1971 season. So they haven't got back-to-back 4th round finishes since the late 60s going into the 70s. So they don't usually have a very consistent go at the FA Cup, Blackpool. They've not been that successful recently. Last season they were knocked out by Premier League Southampton away from home. Season before that was third round, then fourth round, then third round, first, fourth, first, third round. So that's the pattern they've had for the last 10 seasons, which shows you they haven't got anywhere past the fourth round. Their last decent run in the competition was into the last 16 in 2012, where they were knocked out by Everton. So, not usually a team who have great success in this competition. They have won the FA Cup once, Blackpool, back in 1953 against Bolton, and they have reached two finals before that, where they were beaten by Manchester United in 1948 and Newcastle in 1951. As on this Blackpool right, a slide challenge from Murillo concedes a corner. So it'll be a set piece for Blackpool on the far side. It was won by CJ Hamilton on appearance number 125 for Blackpool. A man they've had for coming up to 4 years now from Mansfield. So he got 12 goals for Blackpool though, even though he's a forward. Well, he got the one last season in the Championship against Preston in October, but he did score against Forest in the FA Cup as well. So just before the half an hour mark, Forest took the lead through a corner of their own in the 16th minute. Can they get it all square as we've just ticked over the 30th? Referee Darren Bond's having a word with a few of the players in the area. As in around the grounds, Bristol Rovers of League One are leading Norwich by a 0-0, and the winner of that tie will take on Liverpool at Anfield. So that'll be a great occasion for Bristol Rovers. As the ball goes into the near post, header won by Tavares, falls to the edge of the area. It'll be chased down by Norburn. Plays it to his left here to Carey, who's going to recycle it in the box. It's a sliced one. It'll be picked up though on the edge of the area by Morgan, who will go for the strike. And again, he's hit it wide of the opposite post this time, down to the keeper's left. He had a shot within the first few minutes, which went wide of the other post. Just always dragging it there, Albie Morgan, who scored twice in Blackpool's last game at home to Exeter, and then also scored the second goal to make it 2-0 against Forest. But again, nothing really for Odysseus Vlachodimos to really worry about. Not really been forced into a save in the opening half an hour. The Greek goalkeeper. Thanks to everyone who's here. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Next commentary is on Saturday, 5:30. Barnet take on top of the table Chesterfield in the National League. And then on the Sunday, we should be having Chelsea women against Manchester United women as well. Fingers crossed, all being well. So, 2 more commentaries coming up for you this week. As Blackpool have it in their 18-yard box with left centre-back Husband. Hurries a clearance down the line. Chested touch there by Carey. Last touch off Williams. That'll be a throw-in for Blackpool. Well won there by Sonny Carey, who joined in July 2021 from Kings Lynn of the National League. And National League North at the moment. But they did spend a season in the National League, Kings Lynn. Ball down the left channel for Blackpool. Cut out on the halfway line by Nico Williams. Falls back to Lyons. Carey. Battling with Murillo. Ball drops to Amabamidele, who will volley it out to the Forest left. Controlled nicely on halfway by Connolly. He'll go back to Lawrence Gabriel. Passes short, but he keeps it away from Hudson-Odoi for the moment. And gets it to his left here to Norburn, the captain. Out to the left now to Husband, who will keep it in on the near side. Travels 15 yards into the Forest half and then finds Morgan. Norburn back into the centre circle here to Epiteta. His pass to Connolly just goes under the foot of Wood. Lifted ball into the area, brought down by Hamilton. Finds the right wing back of Lawrence Gabriel, who's driving inside. Plays it to Norburn. First time clip ball in, headed away by Nico Williams. It comes off the hand of Yates, but referee doesn't give anything. Albie Morgan lifts it through into the box, over the head of Murillo, towards Jordan Rhodes. It's dealt with by Tavares, whose clearance deflects off the Blackpool striker. And that'll be a goal kick for Forest. Not really had any effect on the game so far, Jordan Rhodes, on loan from Huddersfield. He's got 15 goals so far this season, all in League One. His best ever season, Jordan Rhodes, was 35 goals in 40 League One appearances for Huddersfield in the 2011-2012 season. He actually scored 37 in the league if you include the 2 he got in the playoffs. So prime Jordan Rhodes was seriously something to be to fear, but in fairness, 33-year-old Jordan Rhodes isn't doing too badly himself, is he, with 15 League One goals this season? We're talking about Blackpool's history of the FA Cup. Forest's history is slightly better. They've got one more FA Cup than Blackpool. Their last one coming in 1959. It's Luton, and before that they won one in the 19th century. They won one in 1898 where they beat Derby. So they've got some real rich history. Forest, as Jordan Rhodes in the box on the right hand side towards the byline, tries the cross, deflects off Murillo, who will slam the ball into the stands, and he apologises. I don't know why he's done that for. And the fans, gone up to him. That is strange. So Blackpool played a ball down the right-hand side. It deflected off Murillo and it bounced off the advertisement boards and he absolutely slammed it into the stands. No reason for it at all. He quickly apologised and one of the Blackpool fans came up just towards the boardings, and obviously give him a bit of his peace of mind. I don't blame him. That's bizarre from Murillo, because the fans aren't that far away and he hit that hard. That could have easily just bounced off a kid's head. I don't think it did, but it's a Blackpool corner. Met at the near post by Danilo, so they'll get another go at it 10 minutes before the break. And Murillo was actually booked for that, by the way. He's yellow carded the Brazilian centre-back for booting the ball into the stands very aggressively for no reason at all. So another corner for Blackpool. Far post, it's a deep one. Free header for Dominguez. He'll drop to the edge of the area to Carey for Blackpool, which forced to go backwards into the centre circle here to Hamilton. Switches it back out to the right. Great ball. Morgan, across it goes, met by Omobamidele. Still alive in the area. Cleared by Tavares, falls to Connolly, who's tackled from behind by Dominguez, kept in by Hudson-Odoi. Tackled there by, I think that was Albie Morgan, and that will be a throw-in eventually for Nottingham Forest, taken quickly to Danilo. Down the left-hand side, no one there for Forest to chase it, so it's Connolly to go back to the goalkeeper, Grimshaw. Wood will chase it, but Grimshaw shifts it out to the left to James Husband. He will lift it down the left channel, flicked on by Rhodes. Hamilton, chested touch, looks for Carey. Dealt with by Omobamidele, cleared up towards Wood, can't win the header on halfway. Drops to Epiteta for Blackpool, and they'll build again from the back. Not a bad ball there, going a bit route one. Just going long there, Blackpool that time, instead of trying to break through the Forest lines. Just towards the halfway line, it's Albie Morgan. Only Wood is the only Forest player who's not behind the ball at the moment. Norburn goes down under the challenge of Danilo, and that'll be a free kick for Blackpool. Just been a bit too aggressive there, the Brazilian midfielder Danilo, who's making his 30th appearance tonight for Forest, after joining last January from Palmeiras for £16 million. And all those 3 goals he scored came in the Premier League, all in a row, against Brighton, Brentford and Southampton. Important goals they were from Danilo. They came late on in the season when Forest were obviously flirting around the relegation zone. So Blackpool have it. Left-hand side, Husband, cross, far post. Header won by Tavares to the edge of the box, where it's helped away by Danilo. Drops to the chest of Norburn. Looks into the box towards the right side for Connolly. Again, cut out by Tavares. He's done well doing that, but then he's overran it. Norburn wins it back on the far side for Blackpool. Low ball in towards the box. Cut out on the edge there by Chris Wood. And the ball will eventually drop to Ryan Yates here. Will drive forward up towards the halfway line. Plays it out to the right here to Nicolas Dominguez, who's got 2 goals in his last 2 games against Manchester United and Blackpool, both coming at the City ground. Blackpool get their players back, and Forest have got it with their last man at the back, and that is Omobamidele. Goes out to his left centre-back Murillo, into the midfield to Danilo, out to the left to Hudson-Odoi and halfway. And Blackpool have just got back in their shape. As Tavares goes around the outside of Connolly. Good strength there by the Portuguese left-back. Tries to play it through towards Wood. Comes off Epiteta. And it's now Morgan to Lawrence Gabriel. Down the Blackpool right. It cannot be kept in by CJ Hamilton. That'll be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest on the halfway line. On that far side, right in front of Nuno Espirito Santo, who's taking charge of his 15th FA Cup game. Led Wolves to the semi-finals back in 2019, where they were defeated in extra time by Watford. Throw-in is unsuccessful. Nuno Tavares gives it away, but then so does Blackpool, straight to Mangala. Looking out to the opposite flank now. It's with Nico Williams, the right-back, midway side of the Blackpool half, down the line for Yates, who tries to take on a Blackpool player, and that is Husband. He keeps it away from him at the moment here, Yates. Then goes backwards to Dominguez. To his left to Mangala. They're all in the final third. And the ball forward into the path of Dominguez, just a bit too far in front of the Argentine. And that'll be a throw in for Blackpool in the left-back area. Poor pass there by Ryan Yates. Got a decent goal scoring record in the FA Cup, Ryan Yates. 5 goals in his previous 14. 2 of those 5 coming for Nottingham Forest. Obviously, the other 3 were coming during his loan spells. He spent a few spells away from Nottingham Forest. Ryan Yates, likes of Shrewsbury, Notts County, Scunthorpe as well. Blackpool got in their 18-yard box. Out to the right wing back of Lawrence Gabriel. Drives inside, into the midfield, midway side his own half. Switches out to the left, finds James Husband. Goes backwards here to Albie Morgan. On the edge of his 18-yard box, finds Grimshaw, the goalkeeper, who takes a touch out wide, right, and clears it down the line. Volleyed away by Nuno Tavares, then helped back forward by Connolly. Header won by Murillo. Drops on the halfway line for Morgan, who will get there and gives it away. That is such a bad pass, straight to Dominguez, but the Dominguez pass is even worse. He was looking for Yates, goes right beyond him, and then back for Blackpool. Ball forward here to Carey. Halfway line on the left is Morgan. Husband. Norburn. Carey. Touches away from Mangala in the centre circle. Switch out to the right. It's a great ball by Sonny Carey. He'll find Lawrence Gabriel, who gets the ball down the line for CJ Hamilton in the area. Back to goal. He has to leave the 18-yard box and play it back to Lawrence Gabriel. Cross goes in, header away by Mangala. Wood can't make it stick with his chested touch. And that will now be back for Blackpool on this near side of James Husband. Tries to play ball through to Lyons in the area. Cut out by Dominguez. Yates caught late. Play will carry on as Forest still have the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box. Yates back to his feet. Start with the goalkeeper Vlachodimos. Left-footed clearance. Looking for Hudson-Odoi. Out of play it goes. Throwing for Blackpool midway side the Forest half. Taken quickly to CJ Hamilton towards the corner flag. He's got Murillo on his back. Not got much support with him. He's forced all the way back here to Connolly at the back for Blackpool. It's now on the halfway line with Epiteta. Tries to find left centre-back James Husband, but can't quite find him. Just too far ahead of him. Out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. It's not good enough there, really, by Marvin Epiteta. He's only made 1 appearance in the last 7 in the League One. Epiteta has got a goal in the competition so far this season in the second round against Forest Green. Was also on the bench in the last game against Forest. That's with their goalkeeper Vlachodimos, the right centre-back and goal scorer Omobamidele. Nico Williams at right back, closed down by Lyons, goes back to Omobamidele, who's right-footed ball down the line, right out of play. Throwing for Blackpool in the final third. Not a great clearance from the Irish centre-back. James Husband with it, finds Morgan, back to Husband, inside towards Rhodes, knocked off the ball too easily, Mangala brings it away. Still in the Forest half on the left-hand side with Tavares. Finds Hudson-Odoi. Inside the Blackpool half we go. Hudson-Odoi being chased down by Lawrence Gabriel. Goes back into the midfield to Mangala. Driving forward. Looking out to the Forest right. Finding Williams. He goes down the line himself to Yates. Back to Williams. Yates again. Everything to his left. In the final third. Finds Mangala. Williams again. Driving away from Carey. Going back to the halfway line to Omobamidele. It's now Murillo. Sweeping ball out to the left. Finds Hudson-Odoi. Falls back into his own half to Murillo. Lifted forward into the Blackpool half. Good touch by Tavares. And a ball down the line for Danilo. First time pass looking for Wood. In the box. Holds it up. Turns. Lays it back off for Danilo in a left wing position. He'll cross it with his left foot towards the near post. And it has to be just prodded behind there by Callum Connolly. And that would be a corner kick for Forest again on the far side. It's where the goal came from in the 16th minute. A corner kick for Forest on the opposite side. Ball in at the near post by Dominguez. Flicked on by Yates and volleyed in by Omobamidele. What will happen from this one right before half-time? It'll be an outswinger here. It's got pace on it into the 6-yard box. It's a teasing ball. Good header away by Epiteta and then on the edge of the box. Dominguez goes for a strike and it's always rising over the crossbar. Good ball that from Nuno Tavares. Left-footed. Went right into the 6-yard box but no one attacked it for Forest in that area. It was like dead centre in the box. Surprised the goalkeeper didn't come for that. thankfully he had Epiteta to just head it away, and then Dominguez struck on the edge of the box, and it was always rising over the crossbar for Nicholas Dominguez. So it'll be a goal kick for Grimshaw. Right-footed, out to the Blackpool right, flicked on by Rhodes towards Lawrence Gabriel. Cleared away from him by Murillo, which are thrown for the home side. In the Forest half, taken quickly, thrown long towards the byline, has to be flicked away by Murillo for another throw-in, right next to the corner flag on the far side. And it'll be taken here by Lawrence Gabriel, who made it 1-0 in the reverse game in the 25th minute. Looks like he's going to put a long throw-in into the area towards the near post. Drops to the feet of Epiteta, who gets it across, and no one's there to attack it for Blackpool. Long throw went in. It came off Murillo, and it fell nicely into the path of Epiteta. It came off Murillo, then off Wood, into Epiteta, who just squared it across the 6-yard box, and no one's attacked it. It flashed across goal, and Blackpool remain 1-0 down, but they've got to be getting bodies attacking that if possible. Using the long throw-in well there, the home side. Thrown on the opposite side for Forest, down the line by Williams. Headed on, but it will drop for Blackpool and Morgan. Back into his own half here to Connolly, as we've played 45 minutes. And we'll have one added on. Kept in by Hudson-Odoi on the far side. Tavares finds Danilo. Tries to turn away from Norburn, but he can't get away from him. It's now with Blackpool in the centre circle with Morgan. Norburn again. And then back to keep the possession through Epiteta. He's got loads of time here. Finds Morgan. Epiteta. High ball, diagonal switch into the area. Bounces through for Odysseus Vlachodimos to catch. Surprised no Blackpool player was able to get a touch to that. I think it was aimed towards Jordan Rhodes on the edge of the box. Went beyond him and the Forest defender and then threw into the hands of Vlachodimos. As we are about to hit the 46th minute here. It looks like it will be Blackpool 0, Forest 1. Vlachodimos puts it on the ground, clips the ball forward into the Blackpool half, and the referee, Darren Bond, will blow for half-time here at Bloomfield Road. It's a very chilly night in the northwest, and it is the team from Nottingham who are going into the break with the advantage. They came close early on from a corner through Murillo, the Brazilian centre-back, who headed it into the bottom right corner, but it was saved well by Daniel Grimshaw. And about 10 minutes later, from another corner, Andrew Omobamidele peeled off at the far post. It was flicked on at the near post by Yates. Found Andrew Omobamidele on his Forest debut, on his own left-footed volley, into the near post, and it gave the away side the lead. And from then, it's been a game where Forest have enjoyed more of the possession. They've not created loads of chances. They have tested Grimshaw twice. One of them have hit the back of the net for Blackpool. When they have got the ball forward, they are struggling to get the shots on target. 3 shots, 0 on target. They are yet to test out Vlachodimos in the Forest goal. That's something they'll need to do into the second half. But at half-time here at Bloomfield Road, it is Blackpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Not a bad first half there from Nottingham Forest. Nothing special, but I don't think it's had to be anything that special against this Blackpool side, who obviously we know there is a division that separates these two, one in the Premier League and one in the Championship. But I don't think Blackpool have looked too out of place, but they definitely haven't looked good enough to really pose much of a threat. They have kept it pretty well balanced in the midfield, battling hard with the quality that Forest have. But just set pieces, they've let themselves down. Forest came close once before the goal from a set piece and couldn't read the danger signs, and then they were able to score from another one through Omobamidele. But like I say, I don't think Blackpool have done horrifically bad in the midfield areas. It's just when they've got it forward into the final third, they've not created good enough chances to really, have shots at goal which can test Vlachodimos. So it's one of them where Neil Critchley will be pleased with his team's overall performance. Obviously very frustrated that his side are behind through not being able to defend a corner, but at the end of the day, if your final third play is not at it, then more unlikely Nottingham Forest will see this one through. They've not their two forward players, Jordan Rhodes and CJ Hamilton, have just not been in the game enough at all. A lot of the players have been in the midfield for both sides. That is, in fairness, a lot of it has been in that, in that midfield area, and Nottingham Forest, when they've gone forward, they've looked more dangerous, but they would do when you've got quality like Hudson-Odoi on the left, then Dominguez on the right with an overlapping Williams at right back as well. But for Blackpool, if they can just try and work on creating better areas, more space in better areas, then they can definitely equalise. I don't think they've really tested Forest enough at the moment, and when they do eventually test Forest in their defence, then we might see some cracks open up and Blackpool could get an equaliser. But at the moment, I don't think Nottingham Forest are stressing too much. They have a lead, and they'll definitely want to keep it and defend it going into the second half and later on in the game. The other games that are replayed tonight, we've got Bristol Rovers 1-0 up at half-time against Norwich. Luke McCormick with the goal in the 20th minute. The winner of that tie will play Liverpool at Anfield, and the other one is Everton Crystal Palace, where we commentated on, and it was 0-0 at Selhurst Park, and it is Everton with a lead. It is Andre Gomez, the man who scored it in the 42nd minute, so Sean Dyche's side have the lead at Goodison Park. So there's been one goal in each ground. The other two have seen the home side take the lead, and now one we've seen Nottingham Forest, the away team, go ahead for a corner. And yeah, like I say, it's not been the most eye-catching game of all time. We're just seeing the Everton goal, and it's a superb free kick from Andre Gomez, 25 yards out on the right-hand side of the box. Like I say, when you see them, the cliche is, that's a left footer, but Andre Gomez's right foot curls it off the post and in. Good finish there from the Portuguese central midfielder. But in this game, it is the League One side Blackpool behind. And interestingly enough, when researching the game, Nottingham Forest have actually lost their last two FA Cup third round replays, both coming away from home, the replay game. They've lost in 2010 to Birmingham and 2012 to Leicester, so quite a long time ago, obviously, so it means absolutely nothing, but I just found that an interesting stat that they have lost their last two third round replays. And for Blackpool, they have actually progressed from two of their last four FA Cup ties against top flight opposition, which obviously included when they beat Forest last year, 4-1. But like we've already mentioned before, Blackpool haven't really had a very good FA Cup run for a while. Like I say, their last decent run was in 2012 when they were beaten in the last 16 by Everton. But, for Blackpool this season, the absolute aim will be getting into those playoff spots, which will be difficult because League One is a difficult division up in the higher ends. You've got your Portsmouth at top of the table, then you've got Peterborough and Bolton right behind, Derby, who we covered on Monday, they're right up there. Then you've got Barnsley as well, Stevenage, the surprise package, they're in there as well. So it'll be difficult for Blackpool to get into the playoffs, but there's no reason why they can't. If they carry on the home form, it's more the away form that Blackpool are struggling with. Like I said it during the game, then Blackpool have won 12 games this season. 10 of them have been at home, so it's obviously away from home where they're massively struggling. But we just need to. It's hard to describe because Nottingham Forest haven't been great, but they've not had to be great. When Blackpool have had the ball, they've not done enough to really stress Nottingham Forest enough. And then when Forest have had the ball, they've been okay. They've not been anything outstanding. A few loose passes in fairness, but I think it's just definitely coming across that one team's League One and one's the Premier League. And I think if Nottingham Forest turn it up a few levels, then I don't think the game will be on for much longer. I think Forest will run away with it. But if Blackpool can just tidy up going forward, then they could cause a bit of an upset. We could get it to extra time. That's what it is in the FA Cup. Extra time, then penalties, which is a bit of an annoyance. I'd just rather get it straight to pens. But who can complain with more football being played? So it's one of them, isn't it? Just a difficult game to really summarise, because there's just been a lack of quality really for me. For both teams, it's just that Forest have taken the advantage through a corner, which they looked very dangerous with at the beginning of the game, and they capitalised on that good start in the game. In the 16th minute through the volley at the far post by Omobamidele. So definitely a game that could do with more quality. Blackpool have a bit of quality on their bench. They have got Karamoko Dembele on their bench on loan from Stade Brest in France, and he is obviously the former Celtic wonder kid. You might remember him coming through at Celtic, made 10 first-team appearances. He did score for Celtic once, and his debut came in the Europa League at the age of 16 years, 9 months and 20 days in December 2019. So he left Celtic for Stade Brest last season. He's now on loan at League One. His brother Sariki is on loan at Birmingham actually at the moment from Bournemouth. He did start the last game, Dembele, against Forest, but they obviously changed it up. They went for an extra body in midfield with Sonny Carey, and obviously that meant that Karamoko Dembele's had to drop to the bench. And for Forest, they haven't got a lot going on the bench, especially going forward. The three attackers they've got are all 20 or below. They've got Brandon Aguilera, the Costa Rican who joined in July 2022. He's only made one appearance in the first team this season. That came in the League Cup against Burnley. He's not got much first team experience. Like I said, just the one appearance for the first team. Then they've got right winger Joe Garner, who's not played yet. Gardner, who's not played yet for the first team at all. Did make the bench for the first time in the last game against Blackpool. And then they've got Deslef Esapa Osong, who again hasn't got any first team experience. He's come on. He's played once for Forest before Osong, the striker, and that was as a late sub last season in the second leg of the League Cup semi-final against Manchester United. So going forward, Forest haven't got a lot going on, so they definitely need to make sure they don't trail at any point, because they'll have to just try and get an equaliser from what they've got on the pitch. Defensively, they've got a lot of experience. Montiel, the World Cup winner, scored the World Cup winning penalty, the Argentine right back on loan from Sevilla. And then they've got Joe Worrell and Scott McKenna, who were actually frozen out of the squad, weren't they, at the end of Steve Cooper's time at Forest? But obviously, new manager, they've been reintroduced into the team. They've got left back Harry Toffolo as well, so it's not the greatest bench of all time for Forest. Obviously, they've got plenty of defensive options, but going forward, it's a little bit light. But the second half will be getting back underway in about 2 minutes' time. Let's see who will progress to the fourth round, who will take on Bristol City away from home, who beat West Ham last night by 1-0. But I've just read here, so when Andrew Omobamidele scored, poor from me, I should really have found this out before the game, but after he scored his goal, he lifted up a Nottingham Forest shirt which said, "We are thinking of you, Czech Kiarte," who was obviously the midfielder for Nottingham Forest. And unfortunately, his father's passed away, so the Nottingham Forest players are wearing black armbands in the memory of Kiarte's father. So that's why they had that shirt lifted up. So very sad news for Cheku Kiarte. And that is why Andrew Omobamidele had his shirt lifted after his goal in the 16th minute. But for Nottingham Forest, they actually only made 3 changes from their game against Blackpool 10 days ago. Changed to 2 fullbacks. Williams and Tavares have come in for Montiel and Toffolo, and then the Morgan Gibbs-White change was forced because Morgan Gibbs-White is out for a couple of weeks now with a knock, so he's been replaced by Orel Mangala. So not loads of changes, and it was just the 2 changes for Blackpool. Oliver Casey, the centre-back, was swapped out for Marvin Epiteta. And like I mentioned before, they made that midfield change, dropping Dembele and bringing in Carey, who's a bit more of a solid midfield option, putting the bodies in the middle of the pitch, and trying to make it hard for Forest to string passes together and get those patterns of play flowing. Looks like we are about to get back underway very shortly for the second half of this FA Cup replay, 3rd round. Blackpool taking on Forest. So it is 1-0 at the moment to the Premier League side. There is Nuno Espirito Santo. Obviously, you might remember his last job being in Saudi Arabia at Al Ittihad. Didn't survive too long there, just the year he spent. And here come the Blackpool players for the second half, with Neil Critchley just following them behind, the Blackpool head coach, who's never ever beaten Nottingham Forest in his managerial career. 3 games, 1 draw and 2 defeats. He's nearly at 150 games as Blackpool head coach in his 2 spells, Neil Critchley. This is game 147 under his leadership. As it'll be Blackpool to kick left to right, Forest right to left for this second half. Nottingham Forest is going to have a little team huddle before we kick off for this second half here at the City Ground. At Bloomfield Road, should I say. And it's that cold, they've got Danilo and Chris Wood, so they're in a huddle, so like you put your arms around each other. Danilo and Chris Wood had their hands on each other's back and they're rubbing each other's back because of how cold it is. That's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, it's very chilly up in Blackpool tonight, so obviously assistance needed to get as warm as possible. As it will be Blackpool to kick us off. It's with their captain Norburn, plays it all the way back to the edge of the box to Grimshaw, who will fire the ball out to the Blackpool left. It's got loads of height on it. It's got a bit too much height on it. No, it hasn't. Flicked on by Hamilton. Headed away by Omobamidele. Headed forward here by Carey. Omobamidele meets it again. So does Carey off the head of Mangala. Then off the head of Dominguez. Controlled by Yates. Forced backwards to Murillo. Clips it forward into the Blackpool half. Header won by Connolly. Controlled by Murillo. Finds Hudson-Odoi on the near side. Inside his own half. Finds left back Tavares. Lifts the ball to the halfway line. Controlled backwards by Morgan. And then Blackpool start again with their goalkeeper Grimshaw. Hi mate, great commentary. Cheers, thank you very much. Do appreciate that. As always, the pass back is short towards Grimshaw. Dominguez. Danilo shoots it through the legs of Epiteta. And within a minute of the second half, it is Blackpool 0, Forest 2. And what an absolute gift of a goal for the Brazilian. That is not the start that Neil Critchley would have wanted for his Blackpool side. You don't need to gift goals to these Premier League teams. They don't need them. And when you do, it just makes your job 100 times harder. It was with the goalkeeper Grimshaw, played it to the right centre back of Epiteta, inside to Morgan, who tried to go backwards into the box to Grimshaw. His pass was short. Grimshaw met Dominguez and it deflected to Danilo, who dribbled close towards the goal and eventually had his shot fired away into the back of the net. Nearly blocked off the line by Epiteta. It just went through his legs in the end, but that's such a bad back pass from Albie Morgan. Grimshaw came out, deflected off him, straight to Danilo, who took a couple of touches forward, got his left-footed shot away, into the back of the net. And right after the break, it is Blackpool 0, Forest 2. What a gift that is. And Danilo, who gets his first goal of the season. There's a huge error from Albie Morgan there. Obviously, Blackpool do like to try and play from the back as much as possible. But when you do it, you've got to get it right. And he got that very wrong in the end. And like I say, as he gave the ball away there, Dominguez chased it down. Showing it here. Epiteta to Morgan. Back towards Grimshaw. Dominguez got there. Poked it forward. Came off Grimshaw. Straight to Danilo, who entered the box, had the shot to... I say it wasn't an empty net because obviously Epiteta had got himself back on the line, but didn't have a goalkeeper to beat, that's for sure, Danilo. And then into the back of the net it goes. 2-0 Forest. Obviously Dominguez did well. We should add to obviously read the bad back pass. Dominguez was on it quickly. Took one for the team. He got taken out by Grimshaw, Dominguez, as he poked it off the goalkeeper. And then, like I say, straight to Danilo, who had the easy job, really, to finish into the back of the net. As we're back underway there, just a bit of time for treatment for Daniel Grimshaw, the Blackpool goalkeeper, who hurt his arm in that. Like I say, when Dominguez ran right at him, I think he caught his arm there. So I think Grimshaw will be okay to continue, and it is 2-0 to the Premier League side. Really, really bad goal to concede. Blackpool thrown on the far side, down the line towards the byline. Lions trying to turn and cross, deflects off Williams into the feet of Dominguez, pokes it away with his left foot. Chris Wood holds it up and then gives it away to Norburn. Loose ball played inside by Husband, all as far as Yates, who goes forward, and the referee gets in the way. And it'll be a drop ball, I think, for Blackpool, for their captain, Oliver Norburn. Still holding his right arm there, Daniel Grimshaw. Like I say, the short back pass meant he had to come flying out towards it. Slid in towards Dominguez, who poked it off the goalkeeper. That's back on the halfway line with Epiteta for Blackpool. Knocked off balance by Wood. Kicks it out of play. Thrown for Forest on the halfway line, far side. Nico Williams over it. Throws it into Danilo. Controls it well, finds Williams. Ball inside, can't find Wood. Drops through to Connolly, who clears it with his right foot. Bit of a slicer, controlled on halfway by Hudson-Odoi. Finds Mangala, who then goes back to Murillo. It's now with Vlachodimos. Stuttgart-born goalkeeper. Clips out to the left. Chested down by Tavares in the defensive third for Forest. Finds Yates. Tavares, ball forward. Turns. Pokes it to Hudson-Odoi. Keeps it in. Goes back to Murillo. Takes on Hamilton. Plays it forward for Wood. Touch isn't great, but then brought down by Epiteta. And that'll be a free kick for Forest in the left-back position. Just as you hope that maybe that we'd have a bit of a closer second half, and then that happens. It's just bad from Blackpool. Dominguez forward to Wood. Lays it off behind him to Yates. Out to the left here to Hudson-Odoi. One-on-one here with Lawrence Gabriel. Running at speed here, Hudson-Odoi. Squaring it to his right to Yates. Left-footed shot. Can't catch it. Rolls very slowly into the hands of Daniel Grimshaw at the near post. By Ryan Yates, who's not scored yet this season. Got the two last season. One in the League Cup and one in the FA Cup against Blackpool away from home. Blackpool long ball forward. Flicked on by Rhodes on halfway. Drops to CJ Hamilton. Near side now is Lawrence Gabriel. Ball over the top. Rhodes will chase it. Vlachodimos volleys away outside his area. Forward it goes. Headed away by Husband. Up to the left now to Lyons, who gets himself away from Chris Wood, who will keep chasing him. And he'll poke it forward. Can't find Carey. Back with Forest. Midway side their own half with Murillo. Across the right centre back of Omobamidele. Now finds Odysseus Vlachodimos. And to the left back, Nuno Tavares. Short ball into the midfield, looking for Yates, picked up by Norburn. CJ Hamilton in the right wing position, isolated with Nuno Tavares. Tries to play it through towards Lawrence Gabriel, but the pass deflects away to Nuno Tavares, who goes into the box to Murillo. Left-footed ball curled out wide to Yates, brought down really well. Played down the line for Wood, lays it off to Hudson-Odoi. Still deep in the Forest half, they've got it to Mangala in the midfield. Danilo, back to Omobamidele. Now with the goalkeeper Vlachodimos, clears it first time. Up to the halfway line. Header won by Epiteta, but he goes behind him, straight to Wood in the centre circle. Controls it, it's now with Mangala. He's looking out to the left, and then now looking out to the right, and eventually going out to the right to Omobamidele. Touches it into the space for Dominguez, 10 yards inside the Blackpool half. Go to Mangala. Danilo, through to Dominguez. Good play this from Forest. Dominguez behind Wood, can take it on the turn though. On the edge of the box, on his left foot, he'll go for the shot. Deflects over to the left-hand side to Hudson-Odoi. He will keep it in on the near side. Yates in support, the midfielder. He'll go forward instead to Wood. Back to goal, lays it back off for Hudson-Odoi. 1-2 with Dominguez. Running across the box here, Hudson-Odoi. And playing a pass to Omobamidele, midway side the Blackpool half. It's now with number 40, Murillo. Yates on the near side. Hudson-Odoi. Forward to Tavares. To Yates. Back to Tavares again. Through to Yates. Deflects though. So he's picked up by Hamilton for Blackpool, who tries to take on Tavares. Shows too much of the ball to him. And it can be cleaned up by Murillo. And then finds Tavares. To his right to Danilo. On once more. It'll deflect through to Williams, who will get there ahead of Lyons. Tries to go on the outside of Lyons. Can't do so. Plays a pass inside instead to Danilo, who lets Dominguez take over. He's then forced backwards to this halfway line to Omobamidele. Turns away from Carey. Goes back here into Murillo. Forward, out to the right. Cut out by the header Husband. Could header that away from the Blackpool defender. And the ball forward there by Lyons. Deflection to Dominguez. Out to the left of Hudson-Odoi. Touch away from himself. But then Lawrence Gabriel slide tackles him strongly. Wins the ball. Hudson-Odoi stays down. It's definitely not a foul. Won the ball very cleanly. But maybe caught Hudson-Odoi on the afters. And I think Forest are going to kick this ball out here for a throw-in. Because Callum Hudson-Odoi has stayed down here after that challenge from Jordan Lawrence Gabriel. There's nothing wrong with it. The ball was there to be won. Like I say, Hudson-Odoi played a big touch in front of him. So the ball was there to be won. Got there cleanly. It might be just the way he landed maybe on Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, won the ball fairly and then honestly not really quite sure where the contacts come from there. Hudson-Odoi's feeling it, left ankle. I think it was more the landing. It's either the way Hudson-Odoi's landed on it or the way that Lawrence Gabriel's landed on him. It's one or the other. Definitely not a foul. So 10 minutes into this second half, we've had another goal through the Brazilian midfielder of Danilo. After a short back pass to his goalkeeper from R.B. Morgan, Dominguez latched onto it, poked it off the goalkeeper into Danilo, who then had Epiteta on the line to beat the Blackpool defender, who nearly stopped it going in, but it went through him in the end and just trickled over the line for Forest's second goal. And so we've just got a stoppage here for Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's being treated at the moment by the Forest medical staff. And in the other games that are being played tonight in the third round replays, Bristol Rovers 1, Norwich 1. They have equalised. Norwich City and Everton are still 1-0 up against Crystal Palace at Goodison Park. And here we have had one goal in the first half for Andrew Omobamidele, and then we've had one 50 seconds into the second half. Like I say, really bad back pass by Morgan. Way too short to Grimshaw. Dominguez, Danilo, shot, goal, 2-0. And I am 99% sure that that's the tie done. Not to be negative, but Nottingham Forest have played lots better this second half. Take away the goal he scored. Obviously, getting the second goal has given them more control, but since that second goal in the second half, they've been a lot. They've just shown a bit more Premier League quality. But it looks like Daniel Grimshaw is going to have to come off here, the Blackpool goalkeeper. What's happened is, as he's come out for the ball, for that back pass, Dominguez has got there, so he's obviously trying to cover the fact that Dominguez might lift it over him. So Grimshaw's gone up with his right arm up, like that. And as Dominguez has gone into him, he's obviously hit that right arm of his. So that's obviously hurt his right arm, and he's going to have to be replaced by backup goalkeeper Richard O'Donnell, who did play the first 2 games of the FA Cup for Blackpool. So he has played plenty of games in this competition so far, Richard O'Donnell. But yeah, obviously Dominguez going into that right arm of Grimshaw means he can't continue his tries for the last 10 minutes or so. But that right arm is obviously causing him too much discomfort. And it does mean Richard O'Donnell will come on. This will be his 10th appearance this season. He's played all 5 EFL Trophy games. He did play the first 2 FA Cup games as well for Blackpool before being dropped for the game against Forest. But he has played a Forest already at home. Played Forest Green in the FA Cup second round and also played Bromley away in the FA Cup first round. So a change of goalkeepers. Rich O'Donnell, the number one, is on for Daniel Grimshaw, who has been the number 1 this year. Injured his right arm in that second goal. So it'll be a Forest free kick midway side the Blackpool half. On the far side. Good opportunity to get this in the box here. It'll be Dominguez to do it. It's a great ball in towards Chris Ward. It's headed behind by Epitete. Or Husband. It's one of the two, but it'll be a corner nonetheless. Let's have a look. Ball went in. Who did that come off? Must have been Husband. That's where the cameras are aiming. Couldn't quite make out from that one and only replay, but doesn't really matter who it came off because it's the same result anyway. It'll be a corner for Forest. It'll be an outswinger with the left foot of Nuno Tavares. In it goes. Another good ball with pace. Header won by Epitete on the edge of the 6-yard box towards Albie Morgan, who brings it down ahead of Tavares and clears it down the Blackpool right. And straight out of play it goes for a Nottingham Forest throw-in on the halfway line. It's back on the edge of the 18-yard box here for Nottingham Forest with their goalkeeper Vlachodimos. Now left centre half Murillo back into the goalkeeper. Out to right back Williams. Being closed down here by Lyons, the Blackpool left wing back. And the last touch comes off Williams. That'll be a throw in for Blackpool in the final third. Like I say, Williams tried to clear it there. Came off Lyons, then back off Williams and out of play for a throw in. So good pressing from Blackpool. It's now James Husband. Being forced to go backwards here by Dominguez. Keeps it in. Morgan lifts it forward down the line. Rhodes will come across and chase it. And he'll keep it in right on the corner flag. Plays a ball just behind the number 10 of Sonny Carey. And Forrest can clear with Murillo. It's not a great clearance, but it's not a great touch there from Morgan. Yates, edge of the box. Moves it back to Murillo, who slices a clearance. Hamilton on the edge of the box. Back into Norburn. Out to the right to Hamilton. They need to try and make this count if possible. Blackpool, left-footed cross, flicked on by Mangala, headed away by Williams, edge of the area. Morgan hits it, and what a strike! Top left corner, Albie Morgan makes up for his error for the Forest second. And rockets the ball into the top left corner. He scored a goal in the last game to make it 2-0 to Blackpool. This goal is a lot different. It's a storming finish from the edge of the box. And instead of putting Blackpool 2-0 up, this is to get them back in the game at 2-1. The Nico Williams header away wasn't the best. Dropped to the edge of the box, about 19 yards out. Albie Morgan, right-footed. I think he slipped as he hit it. Good control. Right-footed. Leant back slightly, which got the height on it. Top left corner. Little bit of a touch off the right hand of Vlachodimos, but not enough to keep it out. And we might have a game on our hands here. It's Blackpool 1, Forest 2. What a goal that is from Albie Morgan. 2-2 for him in this FA Cup tie. Also scored 2 at the weekend against Exeter. He is just in goal-scoring form at the moment, Albie Morgan. And it's 2-1. From nothing, really, because Blackpool, in all honesty, haven't done a lot this in this second half. I think that's their first shot on target as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, first shot on target, and it resulted in a goal. Fantastic finish from Albie Morgan. What a strike. From nowhere. Brilliant stuff. Got a game on our hands again. Like I say, it's made up for his error, because he gave away the second goal. It is his fault. So, can't say he's not made up for it there, Albie Morgan. What a strike that is, and that is his 6th of the season. 2 in the FA Cup. Three in the league. In the goals at the moment. Ball midway inside the Forest half here with Mangala. To his right to Danilo, who got the Forest second. Through to Dominguez. Midway inside the Blackpool half now. He's going to go for an early switch out to the left. That is a lovely ball. Hudson-Odoi in the area. Going to strike it. Comes off the back of Connolly. And cleared on the edge of the box by Albie Morgan as Blackpool can push up the pitch. And it'll go through to left back Tavares, who will keep the ball in on the near side. That's a great goal from Albie Morgan. It's his 3rd in the FA Cup. 2nd against Forest. The game is back on. Mangala again inside his own half. Got no orange shirts around him, so he could pick a pass out and goes just to the right here to Danilo on halfway. So now right back Williams. He's been forced to go backwards here into Mangala. Back into Williams and then into Andrew Omabamidele. Obviously got the Blackpool. It's in Blackpool, I do apologise. It's obviously got the Blackpool fans more up for it. It is absolutely freezing at the moment, so they do need something to jump up about, and that's what they've got through that goal. That was fantastic. Long ball forward from Forest, header won by Epitete. Then Gabriel Lawrence goes down on the halfway line near side under the challenge of Nuno Tavares. Free kick for Blackpool, like I said, on the halfway line, but again, they can definitely launch this forward and try and get it into the 18-yard box if possible. They play it short, though, to Lawrence Gabriel. Down this right-hand side, finds CJ Hamilton. One-on-one with Tavares. Wants to get onto his left foot. He'll lay it off behind him to Connolly. First-time cross. Far post. Header away by Dominguez, sorry. Out to the Blackpool left here. It's with Albie Morgan. Carey. Great ball. Husband. Byline. In the box. Goes through and it deflects. It's onto the side netting. And that'll be a corner kick for Blackpool. It's funny how a game of football can change so quickly. They seemed a little bit lifeless this second half, Blackpool, but that one moment of magic from Albie Morgan has really brought them into life here. They've got a corner on the far side. It'll be an in-swinger. So they might try and put this on the goalkeeper in the 6-yard box. In it goes. Onto the keeper who can punch it away to the edge of the box. Sonny Carey touches it down. Strikes it himself off the back of Dominguez. And it'll roll through for a throw-in for Blackpool. Just on this near side here. As Norwich have now turned that around and it is Bristol Rovers 1, Norwich 2 and Everton remain 1-0 up at Goodison Park. Gabriel Lawrence long thrown into the box, flicked on by Rhodes, volleyed away by Omabamidele. Norburn can't see that out, kept in by Chris Wood. Charging down the left-hand side. One-on-one with Epitete. Edge of the area. On his right foot. Plays it across to Dominguez. In the area. Lays it off behind him once more to Nico Williams. He will shoot himself. It's parried by the goalkeeper. Hudson-Odoi on his left foot. Squares it. Deflects. Cleared by Morgan. And brought down there Mangala. Brought down Jordan Rhodes. And that'll be a free kick for Blackpool. Big chance. As the ball was cleared there for Forest. Norburn, the captain, tried to see the ball out for a throw, but he didn't go out of play. Wood got around him and kept the ball in. Charged forward. Dominguez shot. Forces the first save from the substitute goalkeeper Richard O'Donnell, who was equal to it. And the chance to go 2 up again for Forest goes away. Obviously, they've had to change goalkeepers. Blackpool, about 10 minutes ago, Daniel Grimshaw injured within the mess of the second goal for Forest. It's now on the Blackpool left with Rhodes into the path of Lyons, the left wing-back, who is right-footed. Onto that right foot. He does work a crossing header away by Murillo. For Forest, drops to the edge of the area towards Albie Morgan. Heavy touch allows the clearance from Danilo. And he absolutely slams that away. Right into the Blackpool half with the goalkeeper O'Donnell. Left-footed ball out to the left-hand side. It'll be a free header for Danilo. But it'll be headed forward, though, for Blackpool and brought down by Carey, who can't quite keep it away from Danilo. Forward to Wood. Backwards to Mangala on halfway. To the left-hand side to Yates. Just about keeps it moving. And then brought down there by Hamilton. And that'll be a free kick for Forest just inside the Blackpool half. Yeah, just a little shove in the back there. Can't really get away with that one, CJ Hamilton. Yates has stayed down, but he'll get himself back up now. Nothing too dangerous of the foul, in all honesty. And some of those Blackpool fans are bouncing around, probably just to keep themselves warm more than anything, but they're getting the chance involved as well. As they are still in this third round FA Cup tie. Even though they are just a goal behind. Tavares puts it in towards the far post, into the box. It goes over the head of Rhodes and out to the far side here to Murillo. Dominguez, edge of the box, he's going to shoot. It'll be blocked and it just goes wide of the near post. That isn't far away there from Nicolas Dominguez, who's looking for goals in 3 games in a row for Forest. Right-hand side, deflects off the backside of Husband and nearly curled into that near post. As O'Donnell had dived over to the far post, as that's where the shot was originally aimed for. So again, plenty of bodies in there for Forest. It'll be right-footed out swinger from Dominguez. Near post, headed on by Albie Morgan. Drops to Williams. Wants to let fly, can't. Goes back to Danilo. Crosses forward. Blocked off the head of Husband. And the counter-attack's on here. Albie Morgan running into the Forest half. It's 3-on-3. Plays it through. What a ball that is. Sonny Carey. Left-hand side. Tries the first time cut back. Deflects off Danilo. And he volleys away for a throw-in. Not a bad counter-attack from Blackpool. It's a beautiful ball through by Morgan. But Carey couldn't quite do much more with it. Ball in for Blackpool. Dealt with at the near post by Nico Williams. Cleared down the line. Headed inside by Dominguez to Danilo. Midway side the Forest half. Back out to the right to Dominguez. 1-on-1 with Epiteta. Tackle by Epiteta. Throwing for Forest. Good defending there from the big number 21. 6'4". Marvin Epiteta. Who did come so close to blocking that shot from Danilo off the line for 2-0, 50 seconds into the second half. Looks like we will get some changes from Blackpool, but not at the moment. Dominguez finds Danilo on the right-hand side. He runs out of pitch on that right flank, and that'll be a throw for Blackpool with 20 minutes to go when the changes shall be made now. There will be number 16 to come off. And that is Jordan Rhodes, their leading scorer of 15 in the league. He's been absolutely useless tonight. He's done nothing really, Jordan Rhodes, and he'll be replaced by number 9, Kyle Joseph, who was signed for an undisclosed fee from Swansea. Missed the first 21 games of injury, but he's got 1 in 11 in the league. Scored against Shrewsbury in November. Next change will be CJ Hamilton, who made his 125th appearance tonight for Blackpool. He'll be replaced by Karamoko Dembele on loan from Stade Brest in France. And the third and final change will see number 19 come off. And that will be... Oh, sorry. They've got the numbers the wrong way around. Number 10 comes off Sonny Carey for number 19, Shane Lavery. So, gone for an attacking change here. Blackpool sacrificing one of those central midfielders. So they're going to go for an attacking 3 now, Blackpool, for the remainder of this game. As Forest try and switch out to the left. Intercepted by the head of Lawrence Gabriel. Lavery forward down the left for Joseph, who will chase it. Omobamidele will get there first, but can only clear it out for a throw-in in the final third on the far side. James Husband will take it down the line here for Joseph, who turns forward, gets away from Nico Williams. Down the byline, he kicks it off Dominguez. Corner. Getting the fans up for it as well, Kyle Joseph. Really good bit of skill on the left-hand side. Just on as well. That's fantastic. Bit of skill straight off the bench there from Kyle Joseph, who also came off the bench in the reverse game at the City ground. Bit of right-footed in-swinger. Far post. Header won by Connolly, and he can't direct it towards goal. Well wide in the end. A good ball as well. Had the pace, he had the height. Definitely had the curl. And Callum Connolly got up there above Williams. But, like I say, nowhere near the goal. Well wide in the end. So it'll be a goal kick here for Vlachodimos to take. It's a high one. Down the Forest left. Wood tries to win the header on Epiteta, but he can't. Omobamidele heads on for Forest. Wood out to the right towards Dominguez. Good tackle there by Husband, who's tackled by Dominguez as he cleared it. Free kick for Blackpool. High ball forward for Blackpool. Down the left by Morgan. Can't quite be kept in there by Lyons. And that'll be a throw in the defensive third for Blackpool, for Forest on the far side. So they've got a bit of work to do to get it away from their own goal. They don't want to lose it here, because it could open a good opportunity for Blackpool. Forest play out from the back. Danilo's ball won by Dembele ahead of Nuno Tavares. Attacking down the right-hand side. Enters the box. Tries to go on the outside of his right foot, but can't get away from Yates. Overruns it, and it goes for a goal kick for Forest. Very exciting player, Karamoko Dembele. Obviously had so much hype around him when he came through at Celtic at the age of 16. Spent last season at Stade Brest, the team he signed for in Ligue 1. Only made 15 appearances in the French top division. Didn't start any games in the top division and didn't score any, so they've sent him on loan this season to Blackpool. And they need something from him if possible. Wood heads on from the goal kick. Hudson-Odoi, lifted ball, can't find Dominguez. It drops to Danilo. 1-2 with Dominguez. Danilo again looking for the Argentine. Cleared in the end on the edge of the box. Only finds Mangala. Yates out to the left of Hudson-Odoi in the final third. 1-on-1 with Lawrence Gabriel. On his right foot here, Hudson-Odoi. He's been forced to go backwards to Tavares. Then forward to Yates. In the box, his touch gets well away from him. Easy catch for O'Donnell in the goal for Blackpool. And it's definitely been a more equal game since the goal. Blackpool have been well in it. And could they nick an equaliser, maybe send this one to extra time? High ball forward for Blackpool. Header won by Dominguez. Husband volleys forward for Blackpool. Headed down by Lavery. Can he find Joseph on the left? No, can't get around Williams in time. And that'll be seen out for a Nottingham Forest throw-in. So 15 minutes to play. Blackpool 1, Nottingham Forest 2. And it would be an absolute reverse if it does end up being 2-2. Obviously, in the first game, Blackpool went 2-0 up. And then Forest got it back. But this time, Forest have gone 2-0 up. And Blackpool are trying to get it back. Do have a little bit of history, though, these two. Met in the Championship playoff semi-finals in the 2009-2010 season, where Blackpool won the first leg at home 2-1. And then also won the second leg away 4-3. And then went on to beat Cardiff in the final in May 2010 to get to the Premier League under Ian Holloway. Remember Charlie Adams scoring a goal in that playoff final for Blackpool. It's still Forest with the ball, with a throw-in on the far side, midway side of the Blackpool half with Nico Williams. A third goal for Forest might be enough to see them through. Throwing headed away, all as far as Mangala, who finds Williams. Back into Mangala with a nice flick. Gets away from Dembele. Dominguez out to the left to Tavares. Finds Hudson-Odoi. Got Yates overlapping him. Hudson-Odoi will run at Lawrence Gabriel and play it through to Wood, who squares it. Cleared away with the left foot of Husband. Brought down by Dembele. Can't keep it away from Hudson-Odoi. And it's still in a dangerous position for the away side. Hudson-Odoi looking for Yates down the line. Well dealt with by Lawrence Gabriel. Goes over the challenge of Yates. And that'll be a free kick for Blackpool in a right-back position. Well won there by Lawrence Gabriel. Went down a little bit easily, but he's got his side a free kick and he eases the pressure. Thanks to everyone who's here. If you like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Next commentary coming on Saturday, Barnet, Chesterfield, National League. Ball forward by the Blackpool goalkeeper. Helped on here by Norburn. Headed away by Murillo. Up to the halfway line. Header won by Epiteta. Mangala. Only finds Norburn. Albie Morgan. High ball out to the right hand side. Overhit as well. Throwing for Forest. Couldn't quite keep it in there. Lawrence Gabriel. Nuno Tavares with the throw-in on loan from Arsenal. Spent 6 years at Benfica before his time at Arsenal, where he's got the 1 goal for Arsenal. Came at home to Manchester United. Flick on there by Joseph. Finds Lavery. Away from Omobamidele and away from the challenger Williams. Lyons' touch gets away from him, headed away by the Irish centre-back for Forest. And it'll be a throw-in for Blackpool on the far side. Throwing down the line quickly to Lyons. Byline, can he keep it in? He can. He'll work the cross into the far post. We're nodding to the goal for Kyle Joseph. Off the bench, equalises, and League One Blackpool have turned it around. Bloomfield Road goes absolutely crazy in the freezing cold, and they have been rewarded for sticking this one out. He has looked so good since coming off the bench, Kyle Joseph. Straight away when he came on, he had a run down the left-hand side and won a corner and got the crowd up for it. And that time, he didn't have to do the work down the line. He was the one to finish it. Throw into Lyons, who took a touch away from Williams, and it looked like the touch may have just gone a bit too far forward for him. It nearly went out of play, but it just stayed in. With his weaker left foot, he was able to lift one into the 6-yard box towards the far post. It's a cross as a goalkeeper, which you just hate, because you don't know where it's going to end. You're just hoping that your defender will get there ahead of the attacker. That time it didn't happen. Murillo was battling with Kyle Joseph, who was able to get up beyond the Brazilian centre-back and just nod it from a yard out into the back of the net. Easy as you like. Blackpool 2, Nottingham Forest 2. This FA Cup tie is well and truly alive. It's 2-2. What a goal. From the throw-in as well. Just a bit of speed for Blackpool there. It wasn't anything special, just a quick throw-in they did. Cross, header, goal. 2-2, 10 minutes to play. And Nottingham Forest have done to them what they did to Blackpool in the first game, as Karamoko Dembele trips Dominguez there. Free kick for the away side. Just to the left-hand side of the pitch, about 30 yards out, so quite the distance away. I think it'll be more of a chance for a cross here. Might even be further than 30 yards, might be 35 maybe. Definitely a chance for a cross. And Nuno Espirito Santo will not be very happy with this, because they got the goal given to them at the start of the second half. The giveaway from Albie Morgan, scored within the first minute, and then after the goal and then the first 10 or 15 minutes, Forest were the better team, like 2-0 up, coasting, and then it's all just changed. Nuno Tavares, the ball goes in, it's a very deep one, it can't be kept in there by Murillo, who goes over the boardings there. And he gets himself back on the field and the ball goes for a goal kick. Not a great ball there from Nuno Tavares, who's put in a lot of good crosses in fairness from corners. But that one wasn't great, just overhit it. And yeah, Forest, who looked set to go through. That looked the case to me at 2-0. Especially after that second goal, the way that Forest were just dominating and just looked the better team. I just didn't think there was a chance for Blackpool to get back in it. But they were able to score. That thunder goal from Albie Morgan, and that's just set the place alight, and they've been able to get an equaliser, but it's not over yet. Chris Wood, midway side the Blackpool half, fires it out to the right-hand side here to Nico Williams. Early cross. I thought it was a good ball there, but Danilo's run wasn't quite that far forward into the hands of O'Donnell, the goalkeeper. Down the line now to the right by Dembele, asking too much of Norburn. Throwing for Forest just inside their own half. Be taken by left-back Nuno Tavares. Danilo Yates, 30 yards out. He's going to strike it. Blocked by Albie Morgan. Drops to Kyle Joseph, who's just scored the equaliser. Peeling out towards the left-hand side here, being chased down by Mangala. Looking for a bit of support now, Joseph. Keeps it away from multiple Forest players and finds Morgan through down the left-hand side to Lyons, who's just got the assist. He's been tackled well there by Nico Williams in the box. Corner kick there for Blackpool. But again, the impact from Kyle Joseph has been absolutely superb. He got 9 goals last year in League One, in a loan at Oxford from Swansea. Made the permanent move to Blackpool this summer. And Andy Lyons, from that left wing back, is now being more of a nuisance. Obviously, just collected an assist there from the corner. In swinger, near post. It goes all the way through, and how's no one got on the end of that? It rolls through to the opposite corner flag, kept in by Epiteta. Back heels it. Finds a Blackpool player. Norburn through, can't find Epiteta. Just goes behind him. Goal kick in the end. What a cross that is. It's a low one to the near post. It's missed by everyone. Everyone misses it. From front post, middle of the box to the back post, it goes through everyone. And nothing comes of it in the end. And, you know, if you're looking at a winner here, you're probably thinking Blackpool might nick this one. Chris Wood tackled fairly from behind by Epiteta. What a tackle that is. Dembele. Lawrence Gabriel. What a touch inside. He goes down in the box. Nothing given from the referee. Ball still alive. Goes down again. Falls to Dembele. Pulls it across. Oh, what a touch that is from the goalkeeper. Cleared by Danilo on the penalty spot. So close for Blackpool. Ball down the left-hand side. Goes out of play. Throwing for Forest. Wow. Down the right-hand side. Lawrence Gabriel entered the box. He went down first time under the challenger Murillo. I think he got the ball there. Then he got straight back up though. Lawrence Gabriel. And then was tackled again by Murillo. But again, he got the ball. And eventually Dembele took over. Pulled it across. And a vital right hand from Vlachodimos took it away, I think, from Shane Lavery. Danilo can't clear it. Albie Morgan lifts it through again down that left-hand side. Lavery will chase it. Omobamidele will deal with it in the box. With a corner conceded. He did his job in the short term there, Omobamidele, keeping it away from Lavery, but I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted to have conceded the corner there. But it'd be another in-swinger here. I think it'll be by number 8, Albie Morgan, as Callum Hudson-Odoi has had play stopped here as the number 14's down, and that's not a great sight for Nottingham Forest. We obviously know Callum Hudson-Odoi has had injury issues in the past, as it will be Nottingham Forest to make 2 changes anyway. One of them is going to be number 41, Brandon Aguilera, and the other one is going to be number 15, Harry Toffolo. In the other games, it's still Bristol Rovers 1, Norwich 2, and then Everton 1, Crystal Palace 0. As it is going to be Callum Hudson-Odoi to be replaced by attacking midfielder Brandon Aguilera, who's making only his second appearance for the first team. His first came in the League Cup in the summer against Burnley at home. And Harry Toffolo will be substituted on, straight swap, with Nuno Tavares. So a switch on the left-hand side for Nottingham Forest, as it looks like Callum Hudson-Odoi might have a groin issue. And I just think Nuno Tavares is coming off as he's not played loads of football recently. Came off the bench at half-time in the first game between Blackpool and Forest, and in the Premier League, Nuno Tavares hasn't featured since the 23rd of September. So 2 changes with 4.5 minutes to go here for the away side, as they are against the ropes here really. Blackpool are definitely the better side. In it goes. Again, near post. It's met by the knee of Murillo, I think, and then eventually cleared away by Forest. Long throwing down the line. Lyons chests it down straight into the path of Yates, who can clear it down the right-hand side. Dominguez loses out to Dembele. His touch is poor. Yates takes over. Back out to the right to Dominguez. Driving inside. He's looking up. He's got Wood in the right wing position, but it's cut out there, I think, by Husband, and he concedes the corner. Bit of back and forth, bit of play here at Broomfield Road. Just interesting as now football works. You know, the first game it's Blackpool who go 2 up and Forest come back, and now in this game it's Forest who have gone ahead and Blackpool who have come back. So it'll be an out swinger from Dominguez. Near post, all the way through again. Edge of the area to Mangala, out to the left to Aguilera. Flag's gone up as he crosses, and that'll be a free kick in the 18-yard box for Blackpool. Yeah, just taking too long to get back on side there, Brandon Aguilera. So it'll be Richard O'Donnell to take. The substitute goalkeeper down the Blackpool right. Flicked on by Lawrence Gabriel, but cleared by Murillo for Forest into the Blackpool half, where Epiteta will get there at a Wood and cleared away by Morgan. Kyle Joseph will chase it, brought down by Murillo and then played out to the right back of Nico Williams. Forward towards Yates, it deflects and played forward by Husband down the left-hand side. Finds Kyle Joseph, who's already got 1 goal, try to get beyond Nico Williams, but that's a great challenge from behind, taking the ball away from the Blackpool number 9. And then Dominguez goes down under the challenge of Husband. And that'll be a free kick for Forest. And that'll be a yellow card as well for James Husband, the left centre-half, who was also booked in the other game against Forest 10 days ago. Norwich have now booked their place into the 3rd round. Bristol Rovers 1, Norwich City 3. So they will take on Liverpool at Anfield. And Everton Crystal Palace is still just 1-0 to the Toffees. So this free kick for Nottingham Forest on the far side. It'll be taken by Nico Williams. Hoofs it forward. Up towards Wood. Great chested touch down to Danilo, but his pass forward is wayward. Cleared by Lawrence Gabriel up towards Lavery, who's tucked down from behind by Murillo, and that'll be a free kick for Blackpool inside their own half here. And Danilo is going to be booked, delaying the restart from the free kick, try to block the quick one. The Brazilian midfielder who did make it 2-0 to Forest within 50 seconds of the second half, but how the half has changed with 50 seconds left of it to play. So it'll be the goalkeeper O'Donnell to take it. It's about 15-20 yards away from the halfway line, so he's just going to pelt this one forward with a bit of height out to the Blackpool left. It's going to be a header won by Yates for Forest, brought down 2 headers forward, and then headed away though by Albie Morgan, met by Omar Bamadeli, throwing for Blackpool midway side the Forest half on that far side. So again, going down the left-hand side, throwing towards the box, headed away by Williams. It'll drop here to Husband, who is tackled by Dominguez. 10 minutes have added on time. Wow. 10 minutes added on. Wood holds it up. Forward to Mangala. Then Wood goes down under the challenge. So that'll be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. 10 minutes added on. Didn't see that coming, if I'm going to be completely honest. Inside the Forest half, which is with Omar Bamadeli. Near side here is Aguilera. It's now with Murillo. Across to Omar Bamadeli in only his 2nd appearance in the FA Cup as Nico Williams is caught out of possession. What a bad giveaway that is. Lyons squares it towards Lavery. That is fantastic interception from Orel Mangala, and it goes into the hands of Vlachodimos. Big error at the right back position from Nico Williams. Blackpool nearly capitalised on a Forest mistake, which Forest did to Blackpool at the start of the second half. It's in the final third of Aguilera. Left-footed cross into the box, headed away by Epiteta. It'll go for a Forest throw-in in the final third on that near side. Midway side the Blackpool half is with Mangala. All Blackpool players are currently behind the ball. It's got over 8 minutes left to play of added on time. 10 added on from the referee, Darren Bond. It's with Dominguez on the far side. Finds Yates. Again, just not being pressed here, as Forest have got it back on the halfway line. Omabama-Dele, left-footed ball out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball as well. It finds Toffolo, the substitute, into the other substitute of Aguilera, who gets away from Lawrence Gabriel in the box. He's brought down, but that's a great challenge to get around Aguilera and take the ball off him, and then he's brought down there, Lawrence Gabriel, by the Costa Rican. Looked like he got ahead of him there, Aguilera, but then from around the side, he got his foot around the body of Aguilera and won the ball there. Lawrence Gabriel, former Forest man. That'll be a free kick for Blackpool on the edge of the box. All to play for here. Could easily go to extra time, as that is what is next. It is extra time, then penalties in the FA Cup. Headed away by Toffolo, helped on by Danilo, headed forward by Lawrence Gabriel, headed away by Toffolo, another header by Lawrence Gabriel, backwards, and then helped forward by Blackpool towards Joseph, who forces the clearance from Omabama-Dele, and that'll be a throw-in on the near side in the final third. Like I say, he was headed backwards there by Lawrence Gabriel, and then played forward by a Blackpool defender, and it forced Omabama-Dele to have to clear it away for a throw-in. So it'll be Lawrence Gabriel, long throwing in towards the near post. Headed won by Murillo, still alive in the area. Headed away by Toffolo. Albie Morgan kicks it off Dominguez, and it goes out to the Forest right, where Dominguez won't get there ahead of Lyons. Played forward for Forest. Dealt with out... Connolly tried to play it out to the Blackpool left there. Okay. The ball's been cleared out. And that can't be a yellow. Ryan Yates was just dragging James Husband away from the ball as he didn't want him to delay the restart. And in fairness, I don't think James Husband really had to throw himself to the ground the way he did. So that'll be a throw in here. Oh, it might have actually been a yellow, for Yates. I definitely just saw the referee put back a yellow card. I don't know who he gave it to. I didn't see him give it to anyone. I just saw it put back in his pocket. Yates with a cross. Far post. Can Aguilera keep it in on that far side? He can do so, the Costa Rican. Goes back into Toffolo. First time clearance. It's a deep one. Drops to the edge of the box. Struck by Williams. It's a block for Blackpool. It drops to Omabama-Dele. Down the line to Williams, who crosses it first time. It's a dangerous ball. Controlled by Aguilera. Byline. Gets it back across. It's kept in. Volleyed by Nico Williams to the edge of the box. Toffolo brings down Dembele. That'll be a free kick for Blackpool. As Dominguez again trying to delay the restart. And it'll be a free kick for Blackpool. It'll be taken by their goalkeeper here, O'Donnell. It's been a bit of a crazy first 5 minutes. And yes, Yates was booked for pulling down James Husband just before, as he believed that the Blackpool man was trying to delay the restart. Clears it forward for Blackpool. Header away by Yates. Kept alive by Albie Morgan. Lyons. Gets it to Joseph down that left-hand side again. Can he work across? He can off Omabama-Dele. And out for a corner it goes. On that far side. Sometimes certain plays just don't work in certain games. 33-year-old Jordan Rhodes tonight up front didn't work. And they brought on Kyle Joseph, and it's worked a treat. Just the way sometimes football goes. The players on the bench are the ones who can really make the difference. And Kyle Joseph has done just that. And he's won another corner. He's gone short to Karamoko Dembele, who runs across the box and strikes it. It deflects straight down the throat of Lacademos, who wants to counter-attack. He's going to kick it long here. trying to go in behind the Blackpool defence, but Dominguez tried to make a run in behind. And he was pulled back as he was trying to get in behind, and that will be a free kick for Forest in the Blackpool half, and it's going to be a booking for Albie Morgan. Like I say, Vlachodimos kicked out of his hands. And yeah, Albie Morgan just pushed Dominguez in the back. Strange. Definitely a free kick. You can't just push someone in the back to stop them from getting on the ball. To even allow Dominguez to chase it. So it'll be a free kick for Forest, right hand side. Midway side of the Blackpool half. It'll be Dominguez to take it. Great opportunity to get this in the box if the cross is right. The free kick has been made to be taken a bit further backwards here, which is probably the right call by the referee. It's about 10 yards away from the halfway line, so Blackpool push up a little bit. Still Dominguez to take it. 3 minutes of the 10 added on to play. Floats it to the far post towards Murillo. Header won by Joseph. It will drop to Murillo instead in the box, who tries to square it. It's blocked there by Lawrence Gabriel, and that'll be a corner on the near side in front of the travelling supporters for Forest. Now this would be a heartbreaker if Forest nicked this late. It's Toffolo with a left-footed outswinger. Plenty of bodies in there. Forest do not want extra time. In it goes. Header won by Murillo. Cleared by Morgan. Overhead kick clearance. And out for a Forest throw-in. Still on this near side. Throws it down the line. Finds Wood with his right foot. He'll clear it. He'll cross it, into Danilo. Where can they get a shot off? It's cleared by Morgan for Blackpool up to the halfway line to Murillo, who can't quite keep it away from Lavery, who tries to turn forward. It comes off Murillo. Goes to Husband at the back for Blackpool, who will clear it down the line. Through towards Dembele, who's in behind. The flag stays down. Dembele, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Rounds him on the angle. It's blocked by Mangala. What a block that is. The flag had stayed down. That was a great ball from Husband to find Dembele. And he was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He's been forced wide. And eventually when he went round him, the angle was very tight. Mangala had got back on the line to be the last line of cover and blocking it really well. I think Dembele had just snuck that in if Mangala hadn't blocked it. Huge chance. Now for Forest, edge of the area. Dominguez, left-footed shot which deflects away for a corner. Good added on time, this. I'm glad he's added on 10. This has been exciting. Both teams going for it. It's almost like both teams don't really want extra time. So they're both going for it. Minute left to play. It's going to be Toffolo again with an outswinger. Can Forest nick this late? Right arm raised. Ball in the box. Header away from Blackpool to the edge of the area. To a left foot of Aguilera. That's a great block. That was travelling. And it deflects out to the Blackpool right to Dembele, whose touch is so far away from him. Goes out for a throw-in for Forest on halfway. Thrown back to the goalkeeper, Vlachodimos. And now it's with Mangala just inside his own half here. He's got plenty of options right and left. He goes to his right to Omar Bamadeli. Now right back Williams, about 10 yards away from the halfway line. Plays a high ball down the right-hand side. Finds Danilo, who lays it off for Dominguez. Across to Wood, just behind him, but he can keep it and shift it to his left to Toffolo. In the area. Cross goes in. Deflected away to the edge of the box to Aguilera. Toffolo in the final third still. Finds Dominguez. Weak-footed cross goes in. But as he'd crossed it, the referee blows for full time. Chris Wood put the cross in the back of the net, but the Blackpool players had stopped because the whistle had stopped. Interesting place to end it, but the referee blows. Dominguez is talking to the referee, asking why he stopped it there. But the 10 minutes were played and the referee blew the whistle. So at full time here at Bloomfield Road, still nothing to separate these two teams. Like the first game, it's ended 2-2. This time it was Forest who took the 2-goal lead. 1 goal in the first half on his Forest debut through Andrew Omabamidele, 16 minutes in a volley at the far post from a corner. They doubled their lead 50 seconds into the second half, a gift given to them by Albie Morgan. Dominguez was through on goal, poked it off the goalkeeper, fell to Danilo, who only had one man to beat on the line, the defender of Marvin Epiteta. Got it beyond him and got it into the back of the net, and it gave Forest a 2-goal lead. And after the goal they scored in the second half, Forest started to command control and really show their quality, but it was with half an hour to go where Albie Morgan struck a right-footed shot into the top left corner from nothing really, and it really raised the game of the Blackpool players, and it got the fans right back in the game and got them loud and supportive as possible, and that changed the tide of the game. After it went 2-1, it was very even. Forest were going forward. Blackpool were probably looking more dangerous, though, and they were able to get the equaliser with 12 minutes to play. Quick throwing down the line, found Andy Lyons, who took a touch forward, and just before it went out of play, he was able to cross it to the far post, right in front of goal. Kyle Joseph got up ahead of Murillo at the back, and he headed it in from about a yard out, and he equalised the game. And then from then, especially in added on time, we've had chances back and forth. We came close right at the end there through Karamoko Dembele, who went through on goal, rounded the goalkeeper, but it was blocked on the angle by Orel Mangala. And at full time here, in the FA Cup third round replay, it is Blackpool 2, Forest 2. And after the 2 games added together, it's 4-4. So a really interesting FA Cup third round tie, and we will get extra time. It doesn't go straight to penalties. We have extra time now. So make sure you stick around, because we could have penalties if it goes all the way. So, sorry, get those capitals. But that was that definitely was a very that game was a lot better once Blackpool got it to 2-1. That last half an hour was, pretty entertaining in fairness. Blackpool were really going for it, and Blackpool probably looked the side more dangerous to score. But then, to be fair, Forest turned it on and added on time. I think for the mainly for the fact I don't think Forest wanted it to go to extra time, but it has, and we'll get an extra half an hour here in Blackpool. So in the other games, it is finished Bristol Rovers 1, Norwich 3. They'll play Liverpool away, and Everton have got past Crystal Palace 1-0. So that does mean that in the 4th round, we know that Blackpool of Nottingham Forest will play Bristol City away from home. But for Everton, the fact that they've gone through, they will go through and face... Where are Everton? They will play Luton at home, where they were beaten by Luton, actually, earlier on in the season at Goodison. So that might be an interesting game, Everton-Luton. That's who they'll face in the 4th round. And here we're still waiting to find out who will face Bristol City. Surprised we didn't get a winner there in added on time. It was very back and forth. But I said it before, it's so interesting how football works, isn't it? The first game it's 2-0 to Forest, and then 2-0 to Blackpool, and Forest bring it back, and then the second game Forest go 2-0 up, and Blackpool have to get it back. So very interesting stuff. It's been a fantastic game. We're going to get kicked off now for the first half of extra time. It'll be Nottingham Forest kicking left to right, Blackpool right to left, and let's see if we can get a winner in this extra 30 minutes, or will we need penalties? We'll have to wait and see. Don't think we've had any subs since. Can't see any that have been made. So we are as we were at the end of the second half into the start of the first half of extra time. And it'll be Nottingham Forest to kick us off, and it's Murillo to send it forward. It's a high ball towards Chris Wood, who nods it inside to Danilo. Across to the right to Yates. On once more here. Dominguez, edge of the area. Left-footed cross goes in. Epiteta heads away towards Mangala. for Forest, who is fouled by Kyle Joseph from behind, and that'll be a free kick for Forest in the Blackpool half. Taken short by Dominguez to Omabamidele. Testing ball for Mangala, who can't take it under control. One back for Blackpool. Out to the left-hand side. Kyle Lavery will chase it. Omabamidele will get there first, and he'll play it back to his goalkeeper, Vlachodimos. High ball out to the Forest left, controlled well by Connolly. Cleared by Lawrence Gabriel. Dembele will chase it, headed away by Murillo. Only as far as Norburn, who's dispossessed by Danilo, who will charge forward down the Forest left. He plays it to Wood, flicks it into the space for Aguilera. He's got bodies in the box to aim for. Dominguez is one of them. It deflects off Epiteta and cleared away by Morgan. And it will be a Forest throw-in on the far side. Harry Toffolo to take the throw-in for Forest. Mangala in the midfield, away from one challenge. Not away from one challenge. He goes down under that challenge. That'll be a free kick for Forest on the left-hand side. Given away there by Oliver Norburn, the Blackpool captain. Only joined in the summer. 31-year-old, shows the impact he's had since coming in, now being the captain. So it'll be Toffolo to put this in with his left foot. Blackpool line is on the 18-yard box line, and the cross goes in far. It's touched by Joseph behind for a corner. Wasn't the most convincing defensive display there from Blackpool. They all seemed to hesitate when that ball went in, and eventually they got it behind for a corner through Kyle Joseph. It'll be an outswinger from Nico Williams on this near side. Deeper. Flicked on by Wood. Dominguez is free as he'll hit it towards the near post. And it's never, ever troubling the Blackpool goal there. Poor strike from Dominguez, who's got 2 in his last 2. Obviously scoring in the last game against Blackpool and also scoring against Manchester United in the Premier League. So it'll be a goal kick for the home side, who only won 6 Championship home games last season against Reading, Watford, Preston, Stoke, QPR and Wigan in a season which saw them down into League One, relegated. But they're having a bit more of a positive season in League One, winning a few more games than they did last season. As the goal kick goes straight out of play for a Forest throw-in just inside their own half on the far side through Toffolo. Plays it down the line. Flick forward by Lawrence Gabriel. Karamoko Dembele turns away from Toffolo. Needs to play the ball out wide, and he will do so here to Lyons. On the edge of the box, he's tackled, but the loose ball drops to Husband. Byline works across to the far post again. It's just over the head of Lavery. He'll drop through towards Dembele, who's out-muscled by Aguilera. And the Costa Rican will kick it off Dembele, and we'll let it roll for a goal kick. It's not a bad attempted cross there, really. For Blackpool by Lyons. Sorry, it wasn't Lyons who crossed it, was it? It was the other Blackpool player. There's Vlachodimos with the goal kick. Flicked on by Aguilera. Chris Wood will chase it, but it'll be cleared by Epiteta. Up towards Dembele, who brings it down on halfway, but it's straight into the feet of Mangala. It's now with right back Williams, about 5 yards inside the Blackpool half. Mangala leaving the centre circle. Looking out to the Forest right again, and he'll find Nico Williams. Early cross, edge of the box, flicked away by Epiteta, but only as far as Aguilera in the box for Forest. He's got Toffolo overlapping, he'll put a low ball into Danilo, who can shoot, good save. Toffolo goes across goal, but the flag is up for offside. That's a huge chance. It's the biggest chance so far in extra time. It drops to Danilo, who's already got 1 so far. About 8 yards out at the near post. He shoots straight at O'Donnell, unfortunately. You know, you say it's a good save, but it is literally right at him. So he was in the right place, let's say that. The goalkeeper was in the right place, covering his angles well, and that is a big chance for Danilo, who's already got 1 goal tonight, and that's his first of the season. So it'll be a free kick here, almost like a goal kick, really, where Toffolo was offside. And he slams it forward into the Forest half. It's a header won by Yates, headed back forward by Lyons. Yates again with the header. Brought down by Dominguez, but that's because he knocked off Albie Morgan off the ball. So that'll be a free kick on halfway for Blackpool. Switched out to the left. Good control by Husband. 1-on-1 with Dominguez in the final third. Forced to go backwards here to Morgan. Clips the ball in towards the far post. Chested down by Lawrence Gabriel, but straight to Aguilera, who can dribble it away for Forest, the young Costa Rican. Forward to Yates, just beyond the halfway line. Out to the right to Dominguez. This could be a dangerous counter-attack. Ball out to the left. Chested down by Danilo. Aguilera shoots the ball into the feet of Connolly. Dembele over the top for Blackpool. Lavery will chase it. Vlachodimos gets there first. Well out of his area, but good commanding goalkeeping. And it's back with Forest once again. Nico Williams on halfway on this near side. Goes into Mangala, the Belgian international. Nico Williams can't find Yates. Williams loses it again to Morgan. Touch out of play. Blackpool throw. And it will be taken by number 3, James Husband, who's got a contract till the end of this season. But the contract he signed at the end of last season was just a 1-year extension with an extra year option. So we might have that extended. He's been pretty decent, James Husband, tonight at the back. As it's Blackpool on their right-hand side here. With Lawrence Gabriel. Now Norburn. Into Albie Morgan. Back out to the right. Looking for Lawrence Gabriel, who goes over the challenge of Aguilera. Nothing given by the referee. And it'll be Danilo to bring it away for Forest. He's going to go for a ball forward. It's a high one. He's looking for Wood, who will bring that down. Too much time around the ball there for Wood. And he keeps it. Playing it back towards the halfway line to Williams. Forward to Yates. Got no orange shirts around him, so he can just dribble forward ever so slightly. Looking out towards the left-hand side. Finding Danilo. Inside to Dominguez. Back to Yates again. From afar, he thought about the shot. Opted against it. Finds Dominguez 25 yards out. Out to the left. Into the space for Toffolo. Good pass here. Toffolo needs a good cross. Near post, helped on, caught by O'Donnell. Probably say that Nottingham Forest have been the better side in the extra time, but that will not faze Blackpool, as they were beaten fair and square for the first hour of the game. So here is Richard O'Donnell. It's going to be a late night for some of the younger children in the stands there. Probably already fallen asleep, some of them. These 2 young ones look like they're ready to fall asleep. I think one of them already is. There's Forest have it again. Aguilera on the far side finds Wood, back into Mangala. And it's now Omabama-Dele. 9 minutes played of the first half of extra time. Still 2-2. Yates, high ball forward, looking for Danilo. Header won by Connolly. Lavery goes down under the challenge of Mangala, and that'll be a free kick for Blackpool inside their own half. Albie Morgan wants to take it rather quickly, and he's going to go for it. Finds here Andy Lyons on the left-hand side. Final third. Lays it off behind him to Husband, who's got forward from the back. What a cross that is, and all the way through again. So close. Lavery was near it. But it goes to the far side for Aguilera for Forest. That's a great ball from Husband. I'm just saying how he deserves an extra year on his contract, and it's for crosses like that. Albie Morgan intercepts the clearance for Forest, but straight to Mangala. So it's still the away side with the ball as we've hit the 100th minute of the game. Played 111 minutes now, because we had a minute extra on the first half, and we had 10 extra on the second. Ball in from Aguilera. Edge of the box. It's cleared by Epiteta. Straight into the path of Morgan, who's got loads of room to run into. Enter the centre circle. Playing it through to Lavery. One-on-one with Omobamidele. Can he get on the right foot? He can, and he shoots it. It's deflected over the bar. And it'll be a corner on the far side for Blackpool. Shane Lavery coming ever so close to scoring his 6th goal of the season. He's already got one in the FA Cup. Came in the first round away from home to Bromley. And on the edge of the box, he got the shot away. As Omobamidele let him get onto his right foot. And Murillo deflected the shot over the bar. As this remains 2-2. Looks like Nottingham Forest are going to make 2 changes here. Gonzalo Montiel on loan from Sevilla. And Scott McKenna, who's been wanted, apparently, by Celtic and Rangers. He's not played many times this season. Scott McKenna, who's played 5 games in the Premier League, all of them in the first 5. This will be his first minutes playing since the 18th of September against Burnley. So it's been quite a while since Scott McKenna's played. And he will replace Murillo, who I think just ran his course. I just think he's cramping up and I think he's struggling there. The Brazilian centre-back, so he'll be replaced by Scott McKenna. And Gonzalo Montiel will come on for... Didn't quite see the number go up there. Yeah, for Nico Williams. So it's just like for like. Centre-back off for centre-back and right-back off for a right-back. So Montiel and McKenna on for Williams and Murillo. But they've got this corner to defend first. Straight off the bench. These Forest defenders. It'll be a right-footed outswinger from Albie Morgan. Plenty of orange shirts in there to aim for. Cross goes into the 6-yard box. Headed away by McKenna. First touch is a good one. Headed away for another throw-in for Blackpool right next to the corner flag. It's got 2.5 minutes left of this first period of extra time. And it will be Lawrence Gabriel to take it. We know he's got a longish throw. He can get it into the box at least. Can they cause some havoc with this long throw-in? In it goes. Vlachodimos punches away and then it's headed back forward by Lawrence Gabriel straight into the hands of Vlachodimos, who's going to kick it out of his hands out towards the Forest right hand side. It'll be headed on by Dominguez. He'll chase his own header here, but it'll be dealt with by Albie Morgan, who clears away for Blackpool. And it'll be kept in here by Kyle Joseph, but he gives it straight to Montiel. Into the midfield for Yates, just inside the Blackpool half. Goes across to the left here to Toffolo. Down the line for Aguilera. Takes on one Blackpool player. 1-2 with Danilo. That's great play from Forest. Aguilera needs to get the cross in the final third. Right-footed towards Yates, who meets here, but it's over the bar. With his left foot on the penalty spot. Couldn't quite get over the ball in the end. Just got under it. Then sends it over the crossbar. But I think he's been quite good since coming on, the youngster for Nottingham Forest. Number 41, Brandon Aguilera. Costa Rican. Joined in July 2022. Went back out on loan last season in Portugal. And also in Costa Rica. And he's made that work there. He's made a chance out of nothing, really. It's just not been able to be put home by Ryan Yates. Goal kick. Can't be flicked on by Lavery. Headed away by Epiteta. Yates now in the midfield. Out to the left for Toffolo for Forest. Midway side of the Blackpool half. He's got Aguilera in support and he'll find him. And he's been forced to go backwards here to the halfway line to Scott McKenna. Omobamidele on his Forest debut. Got the first goal of the game, which seems a very long time ago now. As there is another ball on the pitch as Forest were building an attack there in the Blackpool half. And the referee will have to restart the game. So we played 105 minutes. The referee drops the ball. We're going to have a minute added on. And it's now with Montiel, the right back. He obviously might have penalties, and I've mentioned it before, but he did score the World Cup winning penalty in Qatar for Argentina. So, but I think he missed his first, I'm pretty sure. But then there was an encroachment. I think it was the final that happened. As Blackpool are well and truly behind the ball, they're just seeing this first half out. Montiel back into Yates here on halfway. Omabamidele keeps it away from Lavery. Well, can't keep it away from Lavery. Tackle by him. And it goes out for a throw-in. And as Lavery put that challenge on Omabamidele, he just stayed down for the moment, the Irishman. Hopefully he's okay to continue on his Nottingham Forest debut. We don't want him to get him injured and then have to get back in the team after injury. He's back to his feet. Montiel on halfway will have the throw-in for Forest here. Throws it into the midfield for Yates, and that'll be that for the first half. Still remains 2-2 here between Blackpool and Nottingham Forest. A bit of a quieter half of football as there is an emergency in the crowd here. That's not great to see. It was half-time anyway, but the medical staff of both clubs are being directed to go into the stands here. Obviously, we've had the recent passing of that Bolton supporter at the weekend, which was very upsetting. Hopefully, whoever's in there is okay. It was half-time anyway, so it's not like we've got to get back underway and finish the first half off. The first half's done, so we'll just have to wait and see with this medical emergency when we can get back underway for the second half. It still remains 2-2 here. Well, let's just have our fingers crossed that that's nothing serious in the stands. It's in the Nottingham Forest end, in that away support. You've got to remember, I mean, it is frighteningly cold. You know, it says at the moment to me, it's where I am, it's -5. And I'm not in Blackpool, but I'm not close. Don't want to give away where I live, but Blackpool's not too far away, so it'll be similar. It'll be a similar temperature. And yeah, let's just hope that whoever is in need of help in the crowd is going to come out okay. Like I say, really sad news about the Bolton supporter at the weekend having to have that game abandoned, which, you know, in moments like that you don't really care as long as the person comes out okay. But unfortunately, that time the Bolton supporter didn't. So I'm presuming we're just going to wait. We're just going to have an extended break, which is probably what we need for the game, in all honesty. They did seem to tire both sets of players. It wasn't just Blackpool tiring or Forest. It seemed like both sets of players were feeling the minutes in the legs. Because obviously you've got to remember the first and second half altogether was over 100 minutes long, and now they've got to play another half an hour. So that's 140 minutes. You know, that's nearly 2.5 hours of playing. So you can understand why the players are, you know, starting to feel it a little bit. But if we just look back at the goals, starting with Omabamidele in the 16th minute from a corner. And then they doubled their lead right after half-time. A gift given to them by Morgan. Finished off by Danilo. And then Albie Morgan made up for his mistake. Finishing the ball outside the box, right-footed, top left corner. Touch on there by Vlachodimos, but he couldn't keep it out. And then the equaliser, 12 minutes to go. Kyle Joseph getting on the end of a Andy Lyons cross at the far post, nodding it in from a yard out. And despite Nottingham Forest having 23 shots, 5 on target with 63% of the ball, they are still level here at Blackpool, as they're going to make their 5th and final change here. Nottingham Forest. Joe Worrell will come on here. The Nottingham Forest club captain. And he will take the armband off Ryan Yates. And Don't know who he's replacing. They're not showing it. It's brilliant. And Joe Worrell will replace, I think he will replace Omobamidele. So it's a full change back four for Forest. As former Forest man who scored the first goal in the first game, Jordan Lawrence Gabriel, he's going to be substituted off. And he has been replaced, I believe, by Owen Dale. And he has. It's Owen Dale he's replaced with, who's not scored in the league since November. He has scored in the FA Cup first round against Bromley. So we've had a change each. And we're getting back underway for the second half. So let's hope the medical emergency in the stands has been dealt with and everyone is okay. As it's Blackpool kicking left to right, Forest right to left. It's Forest with the ball, given away though by Danilo. Not stamp. That's a bit over the top. Just trod on the top of the toe there of Lions Toffolo. So that'll be a free kick for Blackpool. It'll be taken by Callum Connolly. Very versatile player, Connolly. He can play along the back four, play anywhere, centre back, right back, left back, and also do a job in midfield as well, which is always good to have. But from his free kick, they've given it away. Scott McKenna clears, played forward by Connolly, straight to Danilo, who's been pulled from behind. Very cynical, and that'll be a yellow card for the Blackpool captain of Oliver Norburn, the Grenada international. So free kick on halfway for Forest. That is a yellow card for Oliver Norburn. Looks like Scott McKenna's going to take this with his left foot. He's going to send it diagonally for Forest out to the right-hand side. It's slightly overhit, but it was an offside flag up there anyway as he sent it up towards Montiel. So free kick in a left-back position for Blackpool. As for those Nottingham Forest supporters, it is a 5-hour round trip, so even when the game's finished, they've got 2.5 hours on the road back. So the Forest fans will be getting home now, about 1 o'clock-ish, if they have a stop at a service station. So it'll be a long night for Nottingham Forest, especially if they don't come out with the victory here. Something they should have really seen through, going 2-0 up against the League One opposition. As O'Donnell sends the ball forward for Blackpool. Header away by Yates, back into the Blackpool half, helped on by Wood. Volleyed away by Epiteta. Headed away by McKenna in the opposite half. Forward towards Wood. Drops in the end for Mangala, over the top down the right-hand side. Danilo will chase it. Connolly will head it out wide, and Dale will clear it down the line. Keeps it in well, finds Morgan. On once more towards Lavery, who falls over here, but then he gets back up and takes it away from Worrell and finds Kyle Joseph. Chance here on the left-hand side, in the area, onto his right foot, he shoots, it's blocked, it'll drop to Aguilera. You feel like Joseph's got to make the pass. And Forest break here, down the left-hand side with Wood. He's got Epiteta on his back, shoved over from behind. Free kick for Forest. Epiteta stops the restart and he'll be booked there. And if you're looking at Epiteta's name, number 21, in the back three for Blackpool, it's a silent K. I couldn't believe it. I was trying to work out how you say his name. I was like, Ekpeteta? But I've heard him say his name, and that K was certainly silent. So it is Epiteta, not Ekpeteta, or anything like that. So it's back with Forest after that free kick win. And they've got it inside their own half here with their captain, Joe Worrell, off the bench for the second half of extra time. And he plays it down the right-hand side, well controlled by Dominguez. Can't quite keep it away from Husband, as it's now Dale. Can't turn away from Dominguez. Last touch comes off the Blackpool player, and that'll be a corner for Forest on the far side, given away there by Owen Dale. It looks like he's just coming on to play that left wing-back position. And Andy Lyons has gone over to the opposite side to play right wing-back for this second 15-minute period. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger. Dominguez is hanging around the far post. That's where it's aimed towards. Punched away by O'Donnell. will drop to Mangala, who heads out wide to the left to Dominguez. Back to Mangala. Turns away from Joseph. Plays it through to Dominguez. Keeps it in. Gets it onto his right foot. One-on-one with Lyons. Moves away from him. Plays it into the box to Danilo. Can he work space for a shot? Plays it through for Yates. Squares it through. And from a yard out, Chris Wood gives Nottingham Forest the lead once again. It felt like it had been coming for a while, and eventually it did. Blackpool were the team on top for the end of the second half, but ever since the start of extra time, it has been all Nottingham Forest. And once again, Chris Wood this time holds up the shirt, thinking of you, Chiarte, whose father unfortunately passed away yesterday. And again, like you mentioned in these kind of games, it's just the Premier League quality that usually shines through. And that's what's happened here. Down the left-hand side, Dominguez got a ball inside, found Danilo, who couldn't quite get a shot away, and his touches that were trying to get him beyond the Blackpool defenders just fell nicely, actually, into the path of Yates, who squared it into the 6-yard box, and all on his own. Chris Wood simply could not miss, and he didn't. Almost just bounced off him more than anything. Did try and guide his foot onto the ball to make sure it went into the back of the net. And here at Bloomfield Road, Forest retake the lead. It's Blackpool 2, Forest 3. Yates with the assist. Like I say, I think it's fair to say that Forest have been the better team in this extra time period. Blackpool kind of just came off the gas a little bit. Obviously, they put so much into their back end of the second half to get the equaliser. They had to kind of just, almost like re-energise themselves during the extra time period, where Forest have just been able to knock the ball about. And eventually an opening arrived, and they've scored through it. Chris Wood with the goal, who has got 4 in his last 3 in the Premier League. It's now 4 in his last 5, if you include the FA Cup. Flakademos sends it forward for Forest. Epiteta goes over the challenge of Wood. And that'll be a free kick for Blackpool, who've got to try and come back once again. This time just from 1 goal down. It's not from 2. But they have got very limited time left. 8 minutes of the extra time. Albie Morgan out to the left. Headed inside to the box to Joseph. Cut away by Worrell. And it'll be a throw-in on the far side for Blackpool. Taken quickly by Owen Dale. Throws it backwards here to Albie Morgan. Back to Dale. Then Morgan again on halfway. Sends it forward. Headed away by Montiel for Forest. Finds Dominguez. It's now with Mangala. He goes across to the left here to Toffolo at left back. First time ball forward. It's a high one. It's deep into the Blackpool half. It's volleyed away by Lyons. And that'll be a Forest throw-in. There's a very frustrated figure of Neil Critchley is watching his Blackpool side see this game just slip away from them after doing so well to get back in it. I just think the extra time was just a step too far for them. And Forest have taken the lead through this man, Chris Wood, who's got the ball right on the corner flag, shielding it away from 2 Blackpool players. Can't quite keep it away from them in the end. And it will be Blackpool to clear it through Connolly. Helped up by Kyle Joseph. It drops here to Karamoko Dembele, who's running forward. Looking out to the left-hand side. Finds Albie Morgan on halfway. Forest have got plenty of bodies back. And that's going to be a header away by Montiel. Poor ball out wide by Morgan, but it'll fall right back to him from that header from Montiel. Norburn chips it out himself. Easy header there for Yates. That is shocking, that. Straight to Danilo for Forest. And he'll charge away down that left-hand side. Goes beyond the halfway line. Goes inside to his right here to Aguilera. Plays it through for Wood. In the box. Can he get there ahead of the goalkeeper? He can, but it's a good save. Really good save from O'Donnell. Cleared by Husband, but straight to Montiel for Forest. And it looks like the Premier League team have got the upper hand here. Not just on the scoreline, but it looks like they're a lot more in control of the game now. Toffolo at left back. Ball down the line. Through towards Aguilera. Nowhere near the Costa Rican. Goes through to the goalkeeper for Blackpool, Richard O'Donnell, who will send it forward as quickly as possible with 6 minutes to go. Towards Lavery. Heads it into the air and then volleyed by McKenna. Bit of a hurry clearance. That out to the Forest right where Dominguez can't quite control it. Throwing on the halfway line for Blackpool. Throw goes down the line. And it's now with Joseph. Kicked away from him by Yates. Another throw in the final third here for Blackpool on the far side. They'll leave it here for James Husband to take. He'll throw it behind him to Albie Morgan, who will get the ball in the box. Helped on by Lyons, and it's gone wide of the post in the end. That would have been a monster of a header if that had gone in towards the edge of the box. He headed that from, and it nearly went in towards the bottom right corner, but even if it was on target, I think Vlachodimos would have got there and saved it anyway. As Neil Critchley is currently in conversation with assistant head coaches of Mike Garrity and Ian Brunskill, seeing if they can change anything with 5 minutes to play. Goal kick out to Wood on the left-hand side, over the top for Aguilera, who can't quite keep it away from Epiteta. Mangala takes it away from Norburn in the midfield and slots it through for Ward as the flag goes up. I think he'd just gone early there, Chris Wood, as he tries to finish off the chance, and he'll be booked for it. He definitely heard the whistle go there, Chris Wood, so he can't complain with the yellow card. He knows the whistle was blown and he's kicked the ball away. That's what I find funny about players, when the whistle goes for offside and they try and finish it off anyway, and they go, "Oh, I didn't hear you whistle." It's like, yes, you did. Don't lie. You're just trying to delay the restart. So it'll be free kick for Blackpool here. 4 minutes left to go. They did so much hard work in the final half an hour to get back in the game at 2-2, and now in the extra time, it's just all fell away for them as they get this into the area here. Kyle Joseph, header won by Worrell. Lavery deflects off Mangala over towards Dominguez, who will get there ahead of Husband. It's now Montiel forward for Danilo in the Blackpool half. That's a great ball. Danilo out to the left to Aguilera, takes a good touch in front of him, enters the box, plays it across. Danilo shoots, and it's saved by O'Donnell. Down low to his right. Didn't quite catch it there, Danilo. And O'Donnell will kick it quickly forward towards Kyle Joseph. Flicked behind Worrell and headed backwards by Yates. And cleared by McKenna as Dembele was closing him down. Controlled well here by Connolly. Enters the Forest half. Plays out to the right-hand side. It's a short ball. It's cleared away by Toffolo ahead of Dembele. It'll be a throw-in for Blackpool here as Forest have just got 3 minutes plus any added on time to see this one out. Connolly to take it. He throws it back to the halfway line here for Husband. Left-footed ball. It's a high one. It's a long one towards Kyle Joseph on the edge of the box. Header won by Montiel. Drops to Albie Morgan, whose pass comes off the head of Dominguez, and he gets the return ball from Yates. Dominguez charging down the right-hand side. Holds it up here. He's not got a lot of support, the Argentine. Plays it to Danilo. Back into Yates, and Forest just slow the game down here in the Blackpool half, who looks like they've give it all they can. Struggling to really create anything here, Blackpool. As the ball's touched out of play by Dale, and it's a throw-in for Forest. Midway inside the Blackpool half. Throw-in goes to Dominguez towards the corner flag here. He's got Dale on his back. Kicks it off Joseph, and it's kept in. And last touch comes off Dominguez, so that'll be a throw-in here for Blackpool on the corner flag on the far side. So they've got a lot of work to get it forward here. As this will be Forest's 33rd win against Blackpool. Did the league double over them in the season they got promoted through the playoffs. Montiel and Lavery, a little bit of afters there. But nothing major. It's all been washed away, and plays continued here in the Blackpool half. It's with their captain, Oliver Norburn. Albie Morgan, big switch out to the left. It's a great ball. Good touch as well. Chance here. Down the left-hand side. Dale, cut back, deflects towards Dominguez. Last touch comes off the Argentine. It'll be a throw-in for Blackpool. It'll be Husband to take it here. I think he's going to try and throw this as far as possible. I don't think he's got a long throw in particular, but no, he doesn't. He goes down the line to Dale on the byline. He's got Dominguez nearest to him. Be another throw-in right next to the corner flag here. They've got to try and get this in the box if possible, with less than a minute to play. James Husband is telling him to come a bit closer. He's not got that long of a throw, but he does get in the box, headed away by Yates. Drops to Connolly from afar, who's going to let fly. Deflects towards Dembele, just goes under his foot. Aguilera clears it away for Forest, out for a Blackpool throw-in on the near side here, towards the halfway line. If he was just able to control that Dembele, he might have had a chance on the edge of the box there, but just went under his foot in the end. Dembele, ball forward, headed on by Epiteta, controlled by Joseph. In the area, can't get away from Dominguez, good tackle. And Yates right on the corner flag, shields the ball, lifts it, and can't clear. Goes out of play for a throw-in. We've played 120 minutes. We've got a ball in the box to the far post, towards Lyons, helps it in, and it's McKenna to clear for Forest. We've got 2 minutes added on. Norburn, out to the Blackpool right to Dembele. One-on-one here with Aguilera. Dembele, he's brought down by the Costa Rican. Free kick for Blackpool on the right-hand side. It's a great position to get the ball in the box here. Don't take this short. Set this up, Blackpool. This is your last chance. 90 seconds to play. Bad place to give a free kick away. It's not a shooting position. It's just a bit too far wide for that. But it's about 20, 30 yards out. Whip this in with the right boot and just see what happens. Morgan does that, lifts it, far post, it's headed away by McKenna, but they'll get a corner. On the far side, it was a commanding header there by McKenna. It seemed like he was the only one who actually went up for it, the Scotsman. But it's going to be a right-footed in-swing from Albie Morgan. The goalkeeper's going up. Richard O'Donnell, the 35-year-old. This is pretty much it for Blackpool. In it goes towards the goalkeeper. He punches away towards the far post. To the goalkeeper, O'Donnell, who tries to keep it away from Toffolo, but he gives it away to Mangala. And it's now Aguilera to drive forward with it. He goes for the shot from afar, and he's misjudged it. It goes well wide of the post. But I don't think that Blackpool have got enough time to get it back forward again here. Dembele takes the goal kick. Short here to Morgan. Back to Dembele. Why are they having to retake the goal kick? What? Well, the goal kick's having to be retaken here. For some reason. I don't know what was wrong with the original taking of it. But O'Donnell takes it. 10 seconds left. Morgan sends it forward. Header won by Worrell. Up towards Dominguez. Headed forward by Husband. Yates has to hurry. And clears it out for a throw-in. On the far side. Throwing down the line. Lavery goes down from behind. And it's another free kick. That's an even worse position. Right on the edge of the box. Left-hand side again. I think it's just a bit too wide for a shot. The angle doesn't really favour a shot. But definitely a chance for a cross. Just too aggressive there, Joe Worrell. Trying to win the header. Just pushed Lavery in the back. And it'll be Karamoko Dembele over it. Now this would be drama if they equalise here. Dembele's over it. He's actually walking away. It'll be Albie Morgan's right foot. Blackpool fans full of hope that they can equalise here. Don't see any goalkeeper up there for Blackpool. I think he's staying put. And this is it. We played 3 minutes extra. Only 2 were added on. Really go for the shot. I mean, it's not completely off for him. Morgan goes low with the shot, blocked by Danilo, and the referee blows for full time at Bloomfield Road. They've wasted that last free kick. Albie Morgan went for the shot. Well blocked by Danilo. And it was a lot harder than it should have been for Nottingham Forest in the end, but they have come through as victorious. 3-2 win. They were 2-0 up. First half goal from Omabama Deli on his debut in the 16th minute gave them a 1-0 lead. They doubled their lead 50 seconds into the second half. A gift given to them by Albie Morgan. A short back pass to the goalkeeper was helped forward by Dominguez, deflected to Danilo, who got it beyond the defender in the goal for Blackpool, who couldn't keep it out. And that gave them a 2-0 lead, and it looks like they were coasting through for the next 15 minutes. But with half an hour to go, Albie Morgan from the edge of the box, absolute bullet into the top left corner, and it just brought Blackpool to life. And they really had a go at the game, and they were able to equalise with 12 minutes to go. Substitute Kyle Joseph getting on the end of a Andy Lyons cross to the far post, just headed it in to the goal from about a yard out. Vlachodimos was in no man's land, and Kyle Joseph beat Murillo to the header. And that meant we got extra time, and extra time really brought through the class difference. Blackpool looked a lot more tired, a lot more almost defeated. It's almost like they'd done the hardest bit and they were almost going into the extra time thinking, oh, we've got to go again, kind of thing. Not saying it's the wrong mindset, because when you're physically tired, it's hard to get yourselves back up. But I just think the fitness levels and the quality levels for Forest being a Premier League side just really shone through, and they dominated that extra time for the majority. They were able to take the lead in extra time, in the second half of extra time, through Chris Wood in the 110th minute, tapping in from a yard out. It was a cutback, a cross goal from Ryan Yates. Easy finish for Chris Wood, who's got his fifth goal now in his last 5 games in all competitions. And Blackpool went for it at the end. They had a couple of near chances in putting crosses in the box, but nothing ended up hitting the back of the net. And here in this FA Cup third round replay between Blackpool and Nottingham Forest, it ends Blackpool 2, Nottingham Forest 3. Wow. That's took it out of me, that one. That was a great conversation. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who did join. Not many people, but what can you do? If everyone who was here, if you like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Next commentary coming on Saturday. Barnet taking on the top of the National League, Chesterfield. That should be a really good one. I'd definitely recommend that one. That's on Saturday, and on the Sunday we should hopefully have Chelsea women against Manchester United women live commentary, so make sure you are here for that one as well. But that'll be the end of the live stream. I've nearly been talking for 3 hours straight, so I feel like I need something to eat, a drink, and a relax after that one. But like I say, make sure you like and subscribe before you go. But here at Bloom, hopefully I've been saying Bloom, not Broom, Bloomfield Road, Blackpool went behind by 2. They got it back to 2-2. They then trailed in extra time, couldn't bring it back for a third time, and it means that they don't progress to the 4th round. It's Nottingham Forest to do that. They'll take on Bristol City away from home in the 4th round. But here it ends Blackpool 2, Nottingham Forest 3.